This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin Freakin.
Is there not audio? Am I wrong? Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. Did you not hear the intro? Huh. Shit, like, since OBS did the update, shit's been weird, and I've had to do... I could barely hear it myself. I don't know what's going on. Okay, Ducky heard it. Welcome in, Holiday, Ducky. Kaya, Warlord. Hey, Warlord excited for the end of the Troll Patrol. I don't know why, because this is the beginning. That's the intro. This is the start of the Troll Patrol, not the end of it. But at the end of the Troll Patrol, we're going to watch some live music, because it's Live Music Monday. Welcome in, Silent. I am sorry I've not been here to do news. Been a little busy. Hope everyone had a good holiday if you did not get the chance. I know, I promised that I would come back on Christmas Day and have Curious's granddaughter sing her little Christmas song for you guys off camera. She actually dressed me down. She told me that, like, no, that wasn't happening because she wasn't allowed to be on camera. She was upset and wouldn't do the song. And she was very sassy about it. It was funny. And I was like, all right, I thought you would have fun doing your song on my show, but okay. Basically, that's what she said. She's a little ham. We got a lot of shit to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about Israel. We're going to talk about Ukraine. China is conducting fucking military drills. Like right now, we're going to watch them live. Trump is meeting with Bibi Netanyahu. Like right now. They had a press conference about an hour ago. Is the music still playing? I thought it went off. Oh, I guess not. I'm sorry. Shelly, welcome in. Please clap. I've got all kinds of Christmas stories. Got some very bad parents on Christmas. Got a set of parents that wanted to sell their child for a 6-pack of beer. Now, I'm not a fan of kids, but even I know you can get far more for your kid than a 6-pack of beer. You need a higher asking price. They're getting cheap, aren't they? I'm judging by the parents. It probably wasn't the highest quality kid. Evil or better beer. Yeah, there you go. Which one? Which shooting on Christmas, Warlord? I'm going to tell you about the dude that shot his son on Christmas. I'm going to tell you about the mom shot her son at the Red Rooster on Christmas. I got all kinds of shit. We got all kinds of stuff going on. A man who said that he got a gun for Christmas. Kaya, thank you for the raid. Man claimed he got a gun on Christmas. He was out target practicing with it. And ended up shooting a woman that was like 2 blocks over. She is dead. Oh, that one. Okay, see, it's America. You've got to specify which Christmas shooting you're talking about because there were numerous. We also had a helicopter collide with another helicopter midair. 2 pilots have now died. We're going to talk about ICE. Athena, welcome in. We're going to talk, so, my God, right-wingers have been all up my ass telling me I need to watch a 44-minute video by this asshole by the name of Nick Shirley. Investigative journalism is when I show up to a daycare with an old guy demanding they let us look at children. I'm not high enough for this shit. He's also apparently on the IDF payroll. Flash, welcome in, my friend. Good to see you. Hope you all had a fantastic Christmas. Sacrificial milk. I'm sorry, I'm coughing. Sacrificial MILF Yes, Somali welfare fraud is so real that a woman by the name of Amy, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Amy Buckner or some shit like that. And I love the fact when I went to look up the story on what Funding Our Future or something Our Future is the name of the organization. When I went to go look up the story, it's on Fox News. I have a Fox News article literally saying that this woman was using racism against Somalis to cover up her fraud. And it's on Fox News. It's Fox News saying it. And then, as I have pointed out so many times to other right-wingers, why are you talking about fraud in Minnesota? Why aren't you talking about fraud in Mississippi? That's way more fun. That has Brett Favre and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, involved. Torchy, welcome in. Also, all these people that are so concerned with fraud, are you not aware that you voted for a man literally convicted of fraud? You are so concerned with fraud that you elected a president literally who has been convicted of fraud. Apparently his assistant attorney general had a meltdown over Christmas. Apparently he had a meltdown over Christmas. Both of these motherfuckers had meltdowns. Harmeet Dillon, the assistant AG, had a Twitter meltdown. Trump posted over 150 times on Christmas Day to Truth Social. A judge has ordered the release of the hearing transcripts from the Tyler Robinson hearing from earlier this year. I had to think there for a second. I was like, was it last year? No, we're still in this year. This year that somehow has flown by, but also felt like the longest year ever. I was looking at Axios had this cool kind of a heat map kind of graph of news stories and what got coverage, and I'm looking back at like the Palisades fire. I'm like, oh my god, that wasn't even a year ago yet. That feels like forever ago because so much has happened since then. Look, people have meltdowns on Christmas. That's a thing. I can totally understand that. Clark Griswold had a famous meltdown on Christmas. What is it? Merry Christmas, where's the fucking Tylenol? Holy shit. Bisky, welcome in. Looksmaxer? What? I don't know what a Looksmaxer is. Rips, you say? I need to have rips. I haven't smoked with Curiouser today. I would yell at... She's all the way in the living room. I doubt she could hear me even if I yelled. But I don't know. No, I'm not gonna yell. Ooh. Lenny, welcome in, my friend. Hope everybody is well. At the other side of the year, I'm gonna try to be back on schedule and be around more often. Try to get the freaking news up on the YouTubes daily. Oh, speaking of schedule, we're going to do... We'll do news tomorrow. We'll do a regular show. I'll get you guys caught up on the news. Okay, Athena, Curiouser, my partner. Curiouser is my ex-girlfriend from 10 years ago, but has been my best friend for way longer than we dated. So you can call her my partner. It is wholesome. Smash, welcome in, and we're gonna do live music Monday tonight. I don't even know what we're gonna watch. I thought about I was like, oh, well, let me find out who was voted the best live band for 2025, and we'll watch them. It was Deftones, and we watched Deftones earlier because I think it was in the spring because I'm like, oh, this is one of the big tours of 2025. Let's watch the Deftones. No apologies needed. Postmodern Prometheus says the Dave Matthews Band. Not that I don't like. We watched the Dave Matthews, but we didn't watch a full concert. I think we watched like 30 minutes of a concert. We watched a part of a Dave Matthews concert, and it was fucking awesome. We've watched System of a Down a couple different times. Leftist, because it's one of my favorite bands. Oh, police seized a bunch of Christmas presents in Kentucky. You're never going to guess what was in them. It was meth. And I have video of a gigantic ornament hitting a car. All that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol Live. Good evening. Welcome in. Merry Methmas in Kentucky. Let's get a little more high. Then we'll find out what that news be doing. Is the ornament made of meth? Excellent question. Is the independent journalist made of meth? Because he looks like it. Curious, sir, are you right outside the door? I was being sarcastic when I said you'll never guess. Big Ben, welcome in. Just another day that ends in Kentucky. Julie, welcome. Come on, get live with us. I've just been rambling. Well, anything can be a meth present if you want it to be, I would think. I don't know that she heard me because we've got a little communication problem. My headphones are like completely noise canceling. I can't hear shit. I be sitting in here listening to music. I can't hear shit. You're supposed to put the meth bags up your butt. I don't have Willie Nelson High. I don't know why I don't have Willie Nelson High here. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. It's upsetting. Willie! I've had a couple of different hard drives though, so somehow not everything got copied. Yeah, it says that Shut Up Lester is my newest one. You do not need to apologize at all, Athena. Light one up, tip one back. That's what we're here for. Julie, well, we're glad to have you over on the Twitch. Oregon Gal, what movie? Okay, so if you were with me when we were watching Christmas specials, I said we were going to the movie for Christmas, but I didn't pay any attention when they were deciding what movie we were going to, so I literally went to the theater not knowing what movie we were seeing, and I told Curious's bestie when we were at the Chinese restaurant, I'm like, I don't even remember what you guys decided. I was cooking when you guys were talking about it. So I didn't get any input on it, which I don't care. It's whatever they wanted to see. Tier 2. It was SpongeBob, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. I had a friend who also went to the movies. She said she saw Anaconda, and it sucked. And I was like, oh, you should have went and watched SpongeBob. And she was like, no. That's all she said back. And I was like, no, it was really good. And she's like, I'm not a stoner. Yeah, it was the story of how SpongeBob became a big guy and a swashbuckler. I tried to watch like the first 30 minutes of the original Avatar and I couldn't do it. I think so, Prometheus, and every review I've seen and every person that has seen it. Oh, apparently but Flash liked it. But yeah, it is a remake of, what, the 93 movie? 94? I don't know, Athena. I'm never not high, so I can tell you that SpongeBob is actually based off of an album by one of my all-time favorite bands, and that's Ween. So that might tell you what you need to know. So basically, like, so Ween has an album of sea chanties. It's called The Mollusk. One of the songs from it's in the original SpongeBob movie, Ocean Man. So I mean, I would assume if Tom Kenny is SpongeBob, and Tom Kenny is fucking hilarious, he's in all the best adult cartoons. It's based on a Ween album. I'm just assuming the creators, and there were, like, you know, old school cartoon suggestive double entendres and shit that the kids wouldn't get. It's in there for the... I love that shit. Of course, welcome in, my friend. And Mark Hamill took over as... What's the pirate? What's the bad guy pirate? Ren and Stimpy was just an adult cartoon that they showed to children. There was no double entendre to it. It's amazing they let us watch that shit. Also, I've never watched anything SpongeBob ever. That was my very first complete introduction to something SpongeBob. Flying Dutchman, that's it. Yeah, Mark Hamill took over the Flying Dutchman. Yeah, it was on MTV first, and then they just showed it to us on Nickelodeon. As it was. Wasn't edited. And watching it back as an adult, I don't know how that passed mustard. Arthur Christmas. Oregon Gal, you were the one that told me you hadn't seen Christmas Story, right? You didn't happen to watch it, did you? Sports Cards, welcome in. It's very disgusting. Ren and Stimpy really only works if you're into gross out humor, and I'm not. But it had just enough absurdist humor. You pass mustard by putting it on top of the mustard. Well, the older you get with the cartoons, the more suggestive they are. Didn't the Disney animators used to put dicks in everything? Like you walk around Disney trying to find the Mickey Mouse ears? I think you should have watched Christmas Story, but Wonderful Life, great movie. I guess I shouldn't say that. I've only ever seen the play because I was in the play. I've never actually watched It's a Wonderful Life all the way through. I love Jimmy Stewart. so I assume I would love it. It's like one of Curious's favorite movies. We gotta get to the news. I'm rambling too much. We got a lot of... Maynard, I don't think you can do that on camera, buddy. He's putting on a show for you. He can, I can't. Oh, you guys enjoyed that. Oh, he knows I'm talking about him now. He's not impressed. Oh. Man, they racked up on Christmas. They've got so much shit in here, and they've got the boxes from all the shit. Ooh. Some of you probably weren't here for when they opened their presents on stream. We were watching Christmas specials on Twitch. And Maynard was like, they got some turbo catnip, and Maynard got turbo catnipped out. He's so funny. I love that cat so much. Anyway, we need to do the news. Because we got a shit ton of news to do. Oh my god, I got 5 pages of notes. Guys, that's a fucking 4-hour show. I don't want to be here 4 hours. This is China. They are doing military drills. This is live. This is in Taiwan. As China stages military drills. So this is Taiwan on high alert. As China stages military drills. Is it New Year's there? What day is it? I'm confused. No, I want to get to Live Music Monday. Live Music Monday is my favorite. I like live music. Okay, it's the 30th for them. It's like late in the afternoon, right? Is that it? Fluffing their feathers, indeed. Viva Taiwan. Always against the imperial powers in these here wars. Speaking of imperial powers, a Dearborn, Michigan resident made a trip to Israel. Was arrested by the Israeli police. Because of course he was. Oh, hold on. So I mentioned earlier, ever since the OBS update, I'm having weird issues with the audio sources.
A Dearborn school board trustee named Amr Zar says he was arrested in Nazareth by Israeli police. He says he was there for a comedy show. Now, he has since been released, and now he is sharing his story.
I was taken in for questioning by the Israeli police on suspicion of incitement.
Amr Zar is a Palestinian American comedian. He says he was detained by Israeli police for about an hour and a half on Friday.
I was taken into custody. I was arrested. I was
working on it.
Denounce any incitement, which of course I'm not inciting anyone to anything.
Zar says the arrest made him late to his next comedy show, but despite his late arrival, people still stuck around to see him.
The real story is about how the Palestinian people stayed steadfast and wanted to hear art. from a Palestinian American.
And as everything was unfolding in Nazareth, back in Dearborn, the community was coming together to rally around Thur after hearing about his arrest.
He is member of the Board of Education in Dearborn, and he is an elected official. And also, he is very active in our community.
Osama Siblani is the founder of the Arab American News. He was one of the main people keeping the community updated about Thur's arrest.
We're very concerned about what's happening in that part of the world that we came from, and we have families still there.
The interim superintendent for Dearborn Public Schools sent 7 News Detroit this statement regarding Thur's release. Quote, "We are happy to hear that Trustee Thur has been released. He is a valued member of our school community and beyond."
DJ Dub
Thur has this message for the Dearborn community.
I'm not surprised at all that our community came together very quickly. This is what we do for each other. And I'm just so lucky that I'm part of that community, and I feel blessed to be part of the Dearborn Arab American community.
In Dearborn, Tierra Braddock, 7 News Detroit.
Now, I bring up the fact of a American citizen being arrested in Israel because the president of Israel, or I'm sorry, the prime minister of Israel is here. He's here. He's at Mar-a-Lago, like right now.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump talking to reporters after a meeting at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. The two leaders were discussing the next phase of the Gaza peace plan. Netanyahu called the meeting very productive. Correspondent Aaron Navarro reports now from the White House.
President Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warmly greeted each other at the president's Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida.
I think Israel is very blessed to have.
Jew went to Florida for Christmas? No. I'm sorry. I had to.
President Trump leading the United States, and I'll say leading the free world at this time.
The leaders then launched into a meeting.
I would do it, Lenny. I would totally go. Now, you're a lot more polite than I am. If I went, I probably would be arrested by the Israeli government because I'd piss on something or I'd punch somebody. I'd mouth off to someone. But I'm pretty sure, like, I would love to go to Israel. It is a beautiful fucking country. So much rich history there. Like, you don't even have to be religious to appreciate, going to all these places you've read about in the Bible. But I wouldn't be able to go there and not do some sort of act of civil disobedience. That's just me. You do you. I wouldn't judge you if you didn't, if you just went and observed. Please do it. Do it, Lenny. All expenses paid. Do it. I mean, you're not doing anything to directly give your money to Israel. I understand if somebody wouldn't go for moral reasons. I totally understand that. I get it. But I personally, I would go. But also, fuck Benjamin Netanyahu.
Focused on a handful of issues, including phase 2 of an Israel-Hamas ceasefire, which includes rebuilding Gaza under international supervision. Israel has continued striking targets in Gaza despite the agreement reached in October, while Hamas has refused.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Flash.
There has to be a disarmament, that we have to disarm with Hamas.
The second phase would also require Hamas hand over the remains of a final Israeli hostage. Netanyahu met with his family members before heading to Trump's estate. This is the second day in a row the president has focused on an international conflict. He expressed optimism about ending the Russia-Ukraine war after meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Outstanding issues there include security guarantees for Ukraine and territorial disputes, such as the Donbas region. President Trump says he also had a productive call with Russian President Vladimir Putin Monday morning, who told him a Ukrainian drone attack had just targeted one of his personal homes.
It's one thing to be offensive, because they were offensive. It's another thing to attack his house. It's not the right time to do any of that.
Ukraine denies the allegation. Aaron Navarro, CBS News, the White House.
Yeah, they went out of order for me, but I'm glad they played that Trump clip because I didn't have it handy. Ukraine denies drone attack on Putin's residence. President Vladimir Zelensky. Let me make this bigger here. President Vladimir Zelensky has denied allegations by Russia that Ukraine launched a drone attack on one of President Vladimir Putin's residences and accused Moscow of trying to derail peace talks. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov claimed Kyiv has launched an attack overnight using 91 long-range unmanned aerial vehicles on Putin's state residence in Russia's northwestern Novgorod region. Russia said it would now review its position in peace negotiations. It is not yet clear where Putin was at the time of the alleged attack. Zelensky dismissed the claim as typical Russian lies, intended to give the Kremlin an excuse to continue attacks on Ukraine. He said that Russia had previously targeted government buildings in Kiev. Zelensky added on X, "It is critical that the world doesn't stay silent now. We cannot allow Russia to undermine the work on achieving a lasting peace." In a statement shared on Telegram on Monday, Lavrov said all of the 91 drones he claimed were launched at Putin's residence were intercepted and destroyed by Russian air defense systems. All 91 of them, eh? He added that there were no reports of casualties or damages as a result of the attack. Given the final degeneration of the criminal Kiev regime, which has switched to a policy of state terrorism, Russia's negotiating position will be revised, which is wild. That's a wild. They're going to revise their negotiating position. The Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, says Putin has conceded literally nothing in Ukrainian peace talks. This is breaking. This was published just like 2 hours ago. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said that Russian President Vladimir Putin has conceded literally nothing in talks to end the war in Ukraine. The adversary here, Vladimir Putin, has, to best I can tell, conceded literally nothing to date. And while they say there's 90% agreement, I doubt that Vladimir Putin thinks that the relevant 10% that remains is anything he's willing to give up on. This is about land. He also doesn't want European forces on his border. That's part of the security guarantee. I'll bet that's a poison pill for him. On Sunday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukrainian and American negotiators had made notable progress on a 20-point peace proposal in a meeting at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago club in Florida. We discussed all the aspects of the peace framework. The 20-point peace plan is 90% agreed, Zelensky said, alongside the president in a press conference. When asked by a reporter about the thorniest issue still unresolved, Trump responded that land was a notable one. I think the land you're talking about, some of the land has been taken. Some of that land is maybe up for grabs. Oh my God. But it may be taken over the next period of a number of months, and you're better off making a deal now. Oh, I just noticed that I apparently did not download the shaders for text, and the white is really blending in there. I thought I did that. I'm sorry. I just recently switched out my main hard drive. This is only like the second or third show I've done since then. Over Christmas break, the President of Peace decided that we were going to bomb Nigeria. Remember, I got told that by multiple right-wingers in the lead up to the election that they were voting for Trump because he wouldn't start any new wars. Has bombed the shit out of Nigeria. Bombed the shit out of... I saw a chart today about Trump's bombing of Somalia. Has bombed Somalia. Now, other presidents have bombed... Obama, famously, bombed the shit out of Somalia. But let me tell you, Trump has bombed Somalia more than like every other president combined. It's insane. In this term. Like, you can count his first term and all the other presidents combined, he's bombed Somalia. What the fuck? And I assume that has nothing to do with the right wing going nutso about Somali fraud.
This morning, new details emerging about the strikes in Nigeria on Christmas. The Pentagon releasing this video, a U.S. warship firing a Tomahawk cruise missile from the Gulf of Guinea. A U.S. official telling ABC News more than a dozen missiles were launched. In a village targeted by the strikes in northwest Nigeria, residents searched through the rubble of their homes, now leveled after the strikes. The next day, locals gathering as police sweep the site of a missile strike.
I quickly rushed this morning to come and see the level of damage that this has given to the community. Glory be to God, there was no loss of life and no much damage to the properties.
President Trump saying he ordered the strikes against terrorists who, quote, have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians. The president saying he delayed.
And isn't it a Christian country? Am I wrong about that? If they're targeting Christians, isn't it Christians killing other Christians?
The strikes for symbolic reasons, telling Politico, quote, they were going to do it earlier, and I said, nope, let's give a Christmas present. The Pentagon says multiple ISIS terrorists were killed. U.S. and Nigerian officials confirming they worked together on the operation. Analysts tell ABC News the reality on the ground in Africa's most populous country, home to millions of Christians and Muslims, is complex.
Christians are not the sole target of ISIS in Nigeria. They have been indiscriminate in their violence against Christians, Muslims, civilians, government. It doesn't matter.
Nigeria's government responding to the strikes overnight, saying terrorist violence in any form, whether directed at Christians, Muslims, or other communities, remains an affront to Nigeria's values and to international peace and security.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to get real deep into that one. I turned off the news. I'm catching up on the news with you guys right now. We got a lot of shit to catch up on. I've just been drinking and smoking and eating. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. That's what I've been doing. The Pentagon stated that they did it in tandem with the Nigerian government. The statement from the Nigerian government a little more broad than the U.S.'s statement. There is definitely more to it. It has been over a decade since the crash of Malaysia Flight 370 happened on March 8th, 2014. They are apparently reopening the search.
Well, it is the aviation story that's had the world baffled for over a decade. And to date, the location of missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 and the 239 people on board have remained a mystery.
But the hunt for answers is today reigniting with the start of a new 55-day search, one that hopes to finally bring closure for the families involved. For more, we're joined by sister of passengers Kathy and Bob Lawson, Jeanette Maguire, and former Qantas pilot Richard de Crepney in studio. To you first, Jeanette. It's been over a decade since your sister and brother-in-law's disappearance. How are you welcoming this new search with open arms?
Good morning. Thanks for having me as well. Absolutely. It's been a long time coming. The wait has been quite horrendous, actually. So, to be able to go back out there and search again is awesome. With Malaysia, always said they wouldn't sign off another search unless they had credible evidence. So there's obviously credible evidence here for them to go back out and start that search again.
Jeanette, almost 12 years without answers. I can't imagine the heartbreak that you've gone through. How has this impacted you and your family?
It's been really, really difficult. 12 years is a long time. The emotions still feel like it's yesterday for all of us. And we're just lucky, I suppose, that we have such an amazing family who are all very close, and we love and support each other, and we're always there for each other all the way through. So very hard, very emotional. Welcoming the search, but it is very, very emotional, and your stomach just goes back into knots again, and you just have to learn to control it, really.
I bet.
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it, Jeanette? There's been countless searches over the years. It's sort of a roller coaster ride.
This is the first one in like 5 years, isn't it?
Yes. From your perspective, your hope is that those searches
before the pandemic,
and that this one's successful.
Absolutely. It's an incredible
crown cock
ride. And every time you have so much hope, but then the hope...
The Aussies are all right in my book.
So you have to keep yourself under control so that you don't let those emotions just run wild. You know, they have to be controlled at all times. The hope, the longing for answers to know where Kath and Bob and everyone else is from that plane. Is super important. You know, you can't let anything rest. Honestly, it's the never-ending story. It just keeps going on and on and on. And we.
So Zutolo, welcome in. No, this is the Malaysia Flight 370 that disappeared.
Happened. You know, it's just
what, a dozen years ago?
12 years, almost 12 years. We don't have any answers or any clue really, and so hopefully we get to find them this time.
All right, Richard, let's bring you in. A search of this magnitude is...
So apparently they're doing a search, but they haven't
this one is going to be headed
divulged
by
any information.
Firm Ocean Infinity. What will they be doing to try and locate the aircraft?
Ali, Ocean Infinity is like SpaceX underwater. They're deploying the most extraordinary technology, and of course my heart pulls out to Jeanette.
So somebody's gonna die
from this terrible
diving down. It's like SpaceX. And something gonna explode.
This 15,000 kilometre area that's been designated by three things: the parts of the aircraft that are floated off and moving with currents. They've reversed that. They're looking at satellite communication.
Now see, if now you're telling me it's not the Malaysian government doing this, but this is some sort of private entity, it's probably a PR stunt. They're doing it specifically because this would be a big story. Everybody would talk about it. They're going to send somebody down on a dive, and the tube is going to blow up. I've seen this story before. That happened like 2 years ago.
They're also looking at the amateur ham radios that they think were interfered with by the aircraft travelling through space. So these three search areas are coming down to 15,000 kilometres. Ocean Infinity has 14 of the latest generation machines. They're deploying a swarm of $8 million submarines that have multi-phase sonar, they have optical, they have magnetic. This is the leading edge technology, and I think there's no guarantee the aircraft's there, but if it is, I have confidence that Ocean Infinity will find it.
I mean, 15,000 square kilometres, for us, that sounds like a lot. You're a former international airline pilot. Just how big is that search area, and really how much chance do we have for the victims and families of MH370 to find it?
It could be 30 kilometres wide. They're following an arc called the 7th arc. It could be 30 kilometres by 100 kilometres. And so it's not big in the whole scheme of the Pacific Ocean, but they've got these three different researchers that have said that we can narrow it down to this next area. This is the fourth search that will take place for 55 days, and I think Ocean Infinity will, with a swarm of submarines that are autonomous, they can go underwater for 100 hours. So they'll go down, they'll do the best search. I think they'll search more than 15,000 kilometres. I think they'll probably go up to 30,000. I mean,
Lenny, I think they're assuming the wreckage
will not cover their expenses. But if they do find it, I think they'll be identified to be like the international rescue of the oceans.
Right.
And they'll get lots of military use. They'll be designated the best finders of treasure and seismic activity and lost tragedies like MH370.
And given that there is a lot of mystery,
And hopefully the black box, because they'd like to be able to piece together what happened, right?
will bring in a lot more business for them. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. That particularly for
that's what you'd really want to recover.
The future is with autonomous submarines. So that this company is leading the world, and it's exciting. Again, there's no guarantee the aircraft's in that area, but for Jeanette, I truly have confidence that if the aircraft is in that 15,000 kilometres, that Ocean Infinity will find it, and we can finally put closure to all the suffering.
Yeah, technology hopefully bringing the answers for Jeanette and her family there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So yeah, it was the Titan submersible. What they were looking at, it was the Titanic, right? That's what they were diving for. And you know they were doing that because it's high profile. Media Winch, thank you for the resub. Good to see you, darling. I just saw this the other day. I'd never seen this video, so since we're talking about it, I didn't know that they were going to search for that plane. And it's this private company that's all like tech startup and shit. So it's probably going to end in a disaster because we've seen this one before. And the fact that it's not, because they care about human life and they want to bring closure to the families of the victims of Malaysia Flight 370. It's because they want the PR stunt. Lenny, thank you for throwing out the gift subs. You're going to fuck around and get a hype train going. Did you already do your roast, or are you just going to you've already got your consomme and everything? So socialism, handing out the gift subs. But this is a fun little video. This is the wife of the Titan submersible CEO, and she is listening in on the dive, and she hears when her husband explodes. Or implodes. Implode.
About
transceiver head moves around.
400 meters to go.
Yeah.
But they didn't know that this was the moment until, what, months later?
What was that bang?
You see that nervous smile. What's that bang? I feel like this dude knows.
Drop 2 weights. Titan drop 2 weights.
Copy. Titan drop 2 weights.
I think we can hear it here. I've got a different video where we can't hear it.
He meant to go down fairly light. Don't think that exactly what happened.
Windstack, platform. Go ahead, platform.
We're going to diver 419, please dive equipment checklist. There's a line that says spare experts, more than 5 available.
Say again.
Right here.
Repeat last.
Diver 419, please dive equipment checklist. A line says spare deck bricks, more than 5 available. The platform was light, therefore we need more bricks here, correct?
Negative. Yeah, well, the platform, those weights can be on the platform and just be ready to transfer.
Are they still watching something?
Roger that. Thank you for confirming.
We've lost tracking.
Can you confirm how many bricks?
Did he say we've lost tracking?
Currently.
Okay, yeah, this is the sound. We're gonna watch this here in a second, but I just want, before we watch it, I want everyone to know The company's CEO is the reason why it blew up. The submersible deaths were completely preventable. The CEO was 100% at fault, according to the Coast Guard. Just throwing that out there. So this is the actual bang. We'll get to hear it. Oregon Gal, thank you for throwing out the gift sub. Shit, we got a hell of a hype train going. We're going to have to smoke some pot.
There were no transmissions which indicated trouble or an emergency aboard the Titan. At 10:47:27 a.m. local, the Titan messaged dropped to WTS. At 10:47:33 a.m. local, the Titan was pinged for the final time. The depth of the Titan was 3,346 meters.
See their reaction to the noise.
Okay.
And then we'll rewind and go again.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't get to hear it? It's just them watching that video?
What was that like?
So at that point.
Well, they enhanced the audio a little bit there.
What was that like? Yeah. It should be about 500 meters, 30. What was that like?
Carla, thank you for the resub. We are a level 4 hype train. Goddamn, let's smoke some pot, guys. Thank you for throwing out the gift subs. Merry Christmas, motherfuckers. Medium winch making it rain. Curiouser, if you can hear me, come have hype train bowl. I don't know that you can. God damn! Sociotolo, thank you for throwing out the bits. Hell yeah, let's smoke a little more. Light one up, tip one back. On-screen celebration. I can't see it over here for some reason. I see it over here. If I get Curiouser in here, we'll do some dabs. I don't know that she can hear me. I hear the train a-comin'. Well, I thought you passed out, Athena. Light one up, tip one back. Tie another one on. Flow! Welcome in. Media winch. Throwing out the bits. Does that mean we should watch a police chase? I got a shorter one so we can get back to the news right after. Just happened like yesterday. I would love for you to show me some bits. Love to show you my bits.
You live in sexual anarchy?
This happened. Was this on Christmas? This happened on Christmas in LA? No, I think it happened on like the 27th. I've thought about going back and changing that drop and making his neck spurt. Or get shot down. I should do that.
Desmond Shaw live in SkyCal with more. Des.
Yeah, boy, we have what's actually kind of a marathon pursuit here.
This was 2 nights ago, I think.
Here as we come into the San Gabriel Valley. Are these speeds for real right now? Over 100 miles an hour, you know, come into the San Gabriel.
Triple digits.
Are these speeds for real right now? Over 100 miles.
You better bring me a plate, darling.
Slick conditions with all the rain that we've been having.
I had dippy tacos last week, though.
Issues that we had to wait for even just to get to this pursuit is coming back in the area where we first heard about this, and it all started with someone that was weaving in the roadway. CHP saw that, decided that they wanted to light him up, and the pursuit was on. It
Get to open up the hype chest.
West towards East LA, and then doubled back and went all the way to the Inland Empire. Really crazy driving here. You can see on the right shoulder, again with these slick conditions.
Police chase hype.
Right there. Very, very scary stuff. He had his lights off completely, was totally blacked out at one point, and this is just insane. This driver right here, that they, for something that could have been, you know, a pretty minor thing, you have to imagine that something else is going on behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah, they have fell in with a gun or something.
Out here literally with their life, the way they are driving.
I don't know. There was that dude in the shot, and I'll need to find that video. You guys haven't seen it. It's pretty fucking crazy. The kid that was just shoplifting.
And we've got a pursuit over 100 miles an hour. There, the lights are off again. Here as we are
probably had a petty theft charge.
Making our way through industry and
the kid got an attempted murder charge out of it.
All of these people, I mean, people are traveling after the holidays. We're kind of in the middle of this holiday travel period right now, and to turn the lights off like that at this speed, Desmond, is really frightening on these roadways.
Absolutely, and look at this on the right-hand shoulder and the gore point right there. Again, all you hit.
This is not going to end well.
Water that could be sitting there, or some debris, or anything like that, and it's game over.
I see why this video is not very long.
People with him. That's what's really, really scary about this. Just flying down the roadway, 110 miles an hour, no lights on, and you know we're not. It's not driving a Ferrari here, but I mean he's kind of driving it like it's a sports car. But you know this is an SUV, a GMC, we believe.
Jesus.
For the most minor of things, you know, I don't know if CHP maybe thought that they were under the influence or something. I mean, we know that this is a maximum enforcement period for CHP, where they have a lot of units out there looking for, you know, anything to pull people over for, and it sounds like that's kind of what started all of this. But this is just incredible. You know, CHP actually gave up a different pursuit earlier this evening that we were going to go to. That was someone who was going really, really fast, and I think it was still raining at that point. And CHP just said, you know what, it's not worth it to endanger people for someone, and that person got away. And it seems like, you know, this person is almost kind of daring CHP to continue to pursue them, and so far they are. They've got their helicopter overhead as well. Just making record timing here across the San Gabriel Valley, westbound 60. You see we're coming up to Hacienda Boulevard. He's been on the freeway almost the entire time. He's only gotten off very briefly. He got off around Central in the Chino area. That was just to reverse course. Pretty much every time he's gotten off the freeway, it's been to reverse course. And
every time he's gotten off.
Basically the only freeway that we've been on so far.
And just interesting to see, sometimes you see drivers maybe not aware that their lights aren't on, you know, forgetting to turn them on, but turning them off and then on again is just strange. And that speeds this.
I mean, he knows what he's doing.
Do you think that this changes?
He's not going to see me if I turn my lights off.
Whether they give up this pursuit and how they pursue the suspect?
I've got to say, for the speed they've been going.
Already, I feel like if they haven't given it up yet, then, you know, they're probably not going to.
They must be pretty good at driving.
CHP, they are still right back there. I mean, it's going to be hard for them. Here's the other thing is when we're going this fast, obviously you don't want to be getting super close to this person, because if they slam on the brakes or make a move, then that officer is not going to have any time to react either. So if they're going to continue pursuing at these speeds, you know, there's going to be kind of a minimum distance that they have to give this person. You know, again, they do have the helicopter overhead, which is obviously very advantageous for them. And, but CHP is also not the kind of agency.
He's not driving a straight line, Flash.
You know, as they call it, we know.
He's weaving in and out of traffic and shit.
Sheriff's deputies, a lot of times they will immediately go into tracking mode if you have someone driving like a maniac like this, or with LAPD. It's very rare for CHP to ever.
Athena, I don't know about you, but you'd usually have to. I don't know about you, but with me, you know, you'd have to sleep off drunkenness. You can't just.
So far here, so we'll be coming up to the 6605 energy.
You don't just magically quit being drunk because a little time has passed.
Towards The,
and if you're still drinking, usually you will get drunker.
Other people on the road just being affected by any little.
She can't drive in a straight line. I agree.
And I just think about maybe someone making a lane change and this car coming up behind them with no lights, no warning. That can happen so quickly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, I mean, yeah, especially with
Sky Comet, welcome in. Yeah, we had a hype train.
You're merging on the freeway and you're probably going like half the speed of
Chat earned a police chase.
You can look over your shoulder and there's no one there when you look over, and then by the time you actually make the lane change, this guy just slams right into you, and it turns into a serious crash, especially with the lights off. Just impossible to see. He's going nearly twice the speed limit now at this point as we fly by.
Usually when you go from drunk to fully sober, it's because the police lights turn on behind you.
A possible spike strip, but it's going to be next to impossible to do.
That'll sober you up real fast. Triple digits, Sky Comet.
Drive on the right.
This happened a day or two ago.
Where CHP would be stationed if they were going to try to do a spike strip. I just don't.
This is post-Christmas coitus.
It was slowing down for the lights. They got down to about 30.
This was after you ate out Christmas.
Hit that. That would have been like hitting a brick wall at 80 miles an hour.
Yeah,
That's, you know, and we've seen some pursuits end in the worst way when you have someone who they cannot make one wrong calculation when they're driving this fast, or they're not paying attention for a sec, slam into the back of a big rig, and you know it can end in tragedy. So I can't imagine what
I'm betting tragedy
for them to be taking these kinds of risks, but they are, and we are now past the 605. So sticking with the westbound 60, this is the second time that we've been on this stretch of the westbound 60.
So nerve-wracking watching these speeds. He's slowed down a little bit there, as you were just talking, less than 100 miles per hour, if that means anything. And, you know, Des, earlier we were talking about this maximum enforcement period. We got the numbers in from CHP.
No, you need to be on Twitch when you're this drunk.
On the state during this period, it's actually pretty surprising.
Not a white Bronco, a white...
going over 100 miles per hour.
Yeah, well, you know, I had also heard as we're getting ready
Hyundai.
here, let's see what they do, but I know we have been
Nissan.
There was going to be some coordination between CHP and some local
now on surface roads, off the freeway.
Speeding enforcement because
I think it's the GMC. It might be.
It seems like a bigger issue lately.
Oh, they said GMC. Okay.
In the past, as we're now off at Santa Anita. Let's see. I suspect he's just going to get back on the eastbound 60 because this is what he's been doing. You know, you would hope that CHP could get in place and maybe do a pit maneuver or something if they had the ability to do that.
He's going too fast to do a pit.
Eastbound now, so you see the units there as they're
a pit maneuver
catch up here, but it's just like kind of this like you know, game of tag along the 60 freeway. I'll go eastbound, then I'll go west, and now we're going back east again here in the San Gabriel Valley. You know, we'll see how far
Warlord,
because if he continues east out into the Chino area like he went, we could have some trouble following it because there is still some low clouds out there.
Yeah, and you just think about if this were a few hours earlier and all the rain that was on the roadway.
I think the reporter just told me to blow clouds.
Over the past couple of days, I mean, right now it's drying out.
I might have misheard him.
You know, 3 days.
I don't think we know yet, Skycom, but maybe.
And I always think about, are there other
but maybe
are there other people, you know,
but maybe we know. I don't know.
People not willingly in the car. Is this person alone? And it's just so hard to fathom.
I think the reporter is from the
yeah, absolutely. And I think
from the perspective that the longer this goes,
605 now. Yes,
he's putting innocent people at risk because we'll have a crash with a civilian that wasn't involved, and you'd rather the cops to crash him.
We were actually wondering that as well, how many people
for him to crash into an innocent person. I would assume.
We'll see if we have maybe a little bit of an opportunity to look through the front windshield, but now still kind of dark. As you know, I was curious if there's anyone else besides the driver. That's the best look that we're getting inside. Maybe those windows.
It's an ugly SUV. That's why I guessed it was a Hyundai.
Yeah, it's still pretty tough to see there. We had heard the CHP inquiring on the radio as well. I think they had asked the helicopter if they could get a look at how many people might be inside, and I didn't hear a response to that, so I don't think they were able to get that
ascertain that information
on them. But this is the first time we've been on the 605 now, so northbound, and of course this ends up
605 Super Podcast.
Be right up at the 10 here, very, very quickly. Still over 100. I mean, we've been at 100 the entire time. The only time we weren't is when we were briefly off the freeway, and then it was making that transition.
I don't remember the chase, but I remember the verdict being read vividly.
But Yep, and we may have some clouds in the distance as well up around the 210 freeway. So we'll just see what happens. But yeah, if you can
No, I think the chase might have it happened on a Monday, didn't it?
Irwindale and the 210.
I think it might have preempted wrestling or some shit.
On the roadway are thinking too. So this started when, Des? About 15 minutes ago?
Probably 25 minutes ago. It took us some time to catch up to it. You know, they were going over 100, and
I love that my chat's like, "Oh yeah, I bet I'm older than you."
40 miles.
No, I'm the older.
It's almost like
no, I'm the elder person in chat.
Like Eastern San Gabriel Valley. It's almost as if we're driving 35 miles an hour to gain any distance on this person. So it took us quite some time just to even intercept this pursuit. But yeah, so northbound 605 coming into the Baldwin Park area. You can see we're at Ramona, so we're already past.
I want to say it was pretty late in the day for us, because it was like midday in California, wasn't it?
Again, you know, I heard a couple of lines about spike strips, but I just don't see it happening.
Terry, welcome in.
You know, maybe the best hope here is that the suspect just doesn't have a lot of gas in the tank. I mean, you're driving an SUV.
I'm 41, just laying all the cards on the table.
Over 100 miles an hour.
I'm definitely
like
bald.
You know, on and off the gas pedal, definitely chugging that gasoline. So, might just be the best hope right now that the suspect runs out of gas. But you know, of course, it's anybody's guess how much is in the tank.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, will this person? What is going to stop this person?
Is that also your dating range, Dougie? Older than Justin, but younger than Lenny?
Given the speeds, given the erratic nature of this driver, to imagine them putting spike strips down, and yeah, it is a big SUV at very high speeds. You know, something happens that draws it to a conclusion where everyone stays safe, because there is a very real possibility, you know, he's putting so many people in danger on the road right now.
You guys are saying that, and then I'm hearing the like Danny DeVito song. We gotta write a song about how we don't diddle kids.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe the only saving grace is that it's a white.
We don't diddle kids. No, we don't touch them. Older than my daughter, younger than my wife.
The freeways these days, because so many freeway lights have been cannibalized.
Just a little bit older than you, Scott Comet. I'm like the very first of the millennials.
And Rudabay, we are hitting that weather.
They start like a year or two before me.
Cicero. This is going to hamper us continuing to follow this. So as I widen out, I'm going to show you what we're talking about dealing with here over, I can even kind of put up the interchange. You see we're very close to the 210-605 interchange right now. But we're going to have to wait now and see which direction the suspect comes. If they come westbound, we'll be okay. But if they go eastbound 210, we are not going to be able to follow that.
Uh-oh, do we just lose this?
Kind of
oh, no!
Section of the northeast San Gabriel Valley. So,
damn, Lenny, you look fucking dashing for 77. I would have never guessed that old.
Suspect goes here shortly.
Yeah, very dark clouds there. You can really get a good sense of how dark those clouds are and how clouded the visibility is. And it's just wild to think about this person going as fast as the chopper, over 100 miles per hour, this entire pursuit. So are we staying with this for now? Okay, we will check back in on this, see if he turns around, we get a little bit more visibility. For now.
I'm trying to get us an update here. It was 4 days ago. This isn't it. I don't know. Well, goddamn it. All right, I mentioned this just a little bit ago. This is an incident that happened during my little hiatus here. This is our suspect. He's been stopped for shoplifting. This is his girlfriend. They had a Walmart. This happened on the 18th.
Yeah, probably. Unless you guys did something crazy. You didn't do anything crazy, did you? Well, you should be using a charge.
This is Canton, Ohio.
Come on, guys.
Said you didn't do anything crazy.
Katarina?
Right.
What's your name?
What's up?
What's your name?
Xavier.
Xavier what?
What do I have to do my last?
Because, my man, if you don't cooperate, I'm going to put you in handcuffs.
Xavier Rose.
That is such an Ohio couple. Sorry, Sky Comet.
Well, thank you for that.
Are we going to jail?
Now, let something crazy happen.
I told her not to steal it, bro.
You didn't steal, so no doodles on her.
I told her not to steal, bro.
Item in the bag.
Fucking trying to throw her under the bus. What a piece of shit.
Please.
55-50.
Yeah, that went from petty theft to attempted murder on a cop. That dude's probably going away for close to the rest of his life. Because he probably would have served tops a couple weeks. This is the dumbest thing you could have ever possibly done.
You didn't steal, so no doodles on her. You watch, you walk over and put an item in the bag off the shelf.
Please.
And you probably could have fought this shit and got out of it.
Hey! No! No, shit! Get back!
Yeah, no one is totally going to notice that, Sky Comet. People like this act so fucking sketchy when they're in a store. That's how they get caught. If they took him to jail, man, they might have just cited him.
Do not touch anything.
You are correct on all of that, leftist. If they took him to jail. But it is possible if it was just a fucking, like, under 300 or something, they would have just cited him, had a court date, and would have not took him to jail. But who knows? He might have had fucking warrants and shit. Lucky White.
193 also 76.
Yeah, seriously, Athena. I mean, they pointed a gun at him for just a little bit. The cop did. He was off camera.
That part, we listened to it, lower.
It had to be a stupid spur of the moment decision. There's no way you go in planning this kind of shit, Julie. I would assume. I don't know. I'm not crazy or stupid. Well, I'm kind of crazy. I think they end up letting her go at the end of the video. I had it on in the background as I was doing something else. I'm pretty sure they let her go at the end. That's what I'm saying. They wouldn't necessarily take him to jail, depending on how much it was. A helicopter crash in New Jersey has left 2 pilots dead.
Helicopters collided mid-air in New Jersey, and now we know both of those pilots are confirmed dead. CBS News Philadelphia's Ray Strickland is on the scene outside of Atlantic City.
Also, within the past hour, officials released the names of those two pilots. They've been identified as 71-year-old Michael Greenberg out of Sewell, New Jersey, and 65-year-old Kenneth Kirsch out of Carneys Point, New Jersey. Now, behind me is where investigators say Greenberg and Kirsch crash landed after that mid-air collision. NTSB investigators are now here on scene documenting the wreckage before they take those two choppers to a secure location. Now, the video you're seeing now is of Chopper 3 above the scene.
Yeah, that's more what I thought it would look like. I was kind of amazed the one was intact, but I guess they probably got tangled up in each other's blades, right?
Not long after Greenberg and Kirsch.
It'll buff out. Fragwitz, welcome in.
The two crashed in the area of Bassin Road and Route 206, which is just a mile and a half away from that airport. Now, the big question on many people's minds today is how could this happen?
Touch tips, not blades.
The focus of the investigation as the NTSB tries to comb through all of this evidence that will include listening to recordings, determining the flight paths, and also inspecting maintenance records. Now,
did we see this video?
They saw these two helicopters flying close before the crash. Caitlin Collins told us that they also landed in her backyard.
I just heard this wub, 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 and I knew it was close. You know, you can feel it. We saw a red helicopter on its side, and there was a man in there, and he was breathing and he was looking around. I just held his hand and just told him everything was going to be okay and everything was fine. And I told him, you know, you could hear the sirens. I said, they're coming for you.
Now, the FAA is also here to help the NTSB with the investigation. We also reached out to the NTSB for a comment, and we are still waiting to hear back.
That's what I thought, Dougie. I thought we were going to CNN's Caitlin Collins, the White House, because I mean, believable. She could be in New Jersey, I guess. She's like the DC chief or White House correspondent or whatever, but you could commute. We're going back to LA, where I think the crash happened earlier today. One person is dead, 10 others hurt. Oh, it might have been last night or overnight.
And several other vehicles shut down the 5 freeway in
Ooh,
Heights this morning.
On the 5.
An off-duty EMT jumped into the chaos to help save lives. Fox 11's Haley Winslow spoke with him.
They're coming. They're coming. Who's in the back? Is it a kid? Okay, hang tight.
Hero in this horrendous crash. Caleb's servant Lawler describes it as
wow.
I don't want to like compare it to like something like 9/11, but like it was very like terroristic. Like it was kind of crazy. Like it was.
He was in 9/11
because there was people everywhere. Everyone was freaking out. It was like every single car was totaled.
The certified EMT and social media journalist caught LA wearing Ray-Ban camera glasses.
Clinically, welcome in. Oh, he's an independent journalist.
And 9 other vehicles crashed into each other on the 5 freeway at about 5 a.m. in Boyle Heights. Servant Lawler and fellow first responders were at another.
It was like 9/11.
Suddenly, he sees flames roar up just down the road. Though used to emergencies, he calls this the worst crash he's ever seen.
Somebody was looking out for them because there was like, you know, I don't know. You saw how bad those cars were. Like,
yeah,
that was
it's crazy. Wreckage everywhere. Cars on fire. One explodes, and this.
A little bit better? Okay, stay there.
The journalist frees this man with a bloody face trapped in a car.
This is really bad.
He jumps into action, helping rescuers, dragging this fire extinguisher in the jaws of life so they could give someone CPR. He says a woman was killed and 16 injured in the major multi-vehicle accident that shut down the southbound 5 from 4th Street to the 10 connector for most of Sunday. As many
Read this in here like I'm a Canadian. I've seen 100-car pileups.
Massive response.
Hell, I've been in 2.
As ambulances line the 5 and paramedics rush 10 people to hospitals.
It was the only major disaster this kid had ever had a memory of to be able to compare it to.
On the road, as CHP mans the freeway, collects evidence, and cleans the streets before a tow truck finally takes away the final wreckage. The smashed.
I thought they were like dog sleds.
Reopening the freeway for the Monday morning commute.
Oh, it's really sad for their families that they have to witness that their family members passed away.
Wait, Flash, wait, what? Are you using calipers
In Boyle Heights, Haley Winslow.
for racist purposes? I wasn't expecting that out of Flash. Is that true? I see little Asian women. They seem like they're the safest fucking drivers. God damn it. And I doubt that women are more likely to be bad drivers. Sounds like they're more likely to be distracted drivers, probably. No. As myth busting. According to car insurance companies, Asians are the best drivers. Yeah, that's what I thought. The average Asian driver in the U.S. is actually paying an annual premium of about $815 per year, $68 per month, 10% less than the average U.S. driver. While Asians do make up a small percentage of the overall population, having the rates be so much lower than the average has to mean that the other ethnic group pays more than the average. Asians are better drivers. They have the car insurance rates to back it up. My lord. Yeah, I would think women are less likely to drive drunk. The claim sounded wrong, because like every Asian I've known is like a really good driver. That's anecdotal. That's why I wanted to look it up. But do you remember how right-wingers were all up in arms about how the Biden, DOJ, FBI had not found the... Buddy, there are plenty of Asian like Formula One drivers, I assure you. You limited it to NASCAR because that is specifically from Appalachia. Yeah, you go to gay Euro racing and the Asians dominate that. Cat. Oh, that sounds about men get into less accidents, but they are worse accidents. And women get into more fender benders. I could believe that. I could definitely believe that statistic. The right wing was all up in arms about how the Biden DOJ, FBI never found the man who placed, well, I guess we didn't know it was a man at the time, the person who placed pipe bombs near the DNC and the RNC on January 5th. We now know who it was. He has been caught by the Trump FBI, amazingly enough. Let's see how they screw the case up. But it doesn't reflect well on the right-wingers, because guess what? He was a dumb fuck, stop the steal, MAGA, stupid-ass motherfucker.
Come on, man.
To our top story this morning, a new court filing revealing a lengthy confession by the accused D.C. pipe bomber, 30-year-old Brian Cole Jr. Now, he was arrested earlier this month, nearly 5 years after pipe bombs were placed outside the DNC and RNC headquarters on the eve of the Capitol riot. Those bombs did not go off.
Let's go straight out live.
You nailed it, Flash. They happened to find the only black MAGA supporter. You nailed, like, that's why they turned on him. That's how he was one of their own. That's how they were able to find him. And they turned on him because he's black.
To reporter Tom Rouse.
It makes it make more sense.
New documents. So, Tom, we're learning more about why the suspect allegedly placed these bombs.
Yeah, Adam and Adriana, prosecutors put a lot of new information in a court filing yesterday in hopes of keeping Brian Cole Jr. in custody as he awaits trial. Whether or not that will happen, though, well, it very much depends on the outcome of a hearing scheduled for 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon here at the federal courthouse. And in the meantime, here's video. These new court documents indicate that Cole of Woodbridge not only confessed to putting the pipe bombs outside the Republican and Democratic National Committees the night before January 6th, but he actually did intend, according to an interview, for them to explode. Ultimately, though, they did not, and he said he was actually then relieved when they didn't. Now, the documents say Cole said that he put 60-minute timers on both of the devices. Then he left them. He drove to a restaurant in Northern Virginia, got some food, then he drove home. Cole initially denied to investigators he was the suspect, but then after apparently a couple hours, he admitted he was the suspect, and he gave a lengthy interview and waived his right to remain silent. Cole said he was not trying to stop a joint session of Congress the next day in which Joe Biden's victory in the 2020 election was set to be certified. Cole allegedly told investigators he didn't like either political party, but he added that he felt something was wrong and he was upset that people felt like their votes were being thrown away. Now, he was arrested earlier this month in Woodbridge on December.
Okay, so I correct myself. He wasn't actually MAGA. He believed that the election was stolen, though.
900 times in the 5 years since the pipe bombs were left, and the last time he wiped it clean was just hours before he was arrested earlier this month. Reporting live outside the federal courthouse in downtown Washington, Tom Rouse.
Wiped his hard drive 900 times. Wow. Yeah, just a conspiracy. Well, we're definitely seeing the rise of a different type of profile, because it looks like Tyler Robinson, the Charlie Kirk shooter, wasn't particularly political. It seems like he was a 4chan for the lulz kind of motherfucker, but also dabbles in conspiracy shit. Since we're on the subject, meme assassin. A judge has ordered the release of a transcript from a closed-door Tyler Robinson hearing from earlier in, what was it, October? The public can now see the transcript of a closed-door October hearing in the case against Tyler Robinson, but not all of it. For safety reasons, part of the record was redacted. However, the scope of those redactions is smaller than what Robinson's defense team had requested. The public has a presumptive right to access court records. The 2-hour October 24th hearing, which happened before Robinson's first in-person court appearance, dealt with whether he could wear civilian clothes. Graff described the redactions as limited and narrowly tailored. The transcript is 80 pages with 246 words redacted, which the judge said equates to about 1 page. A redacted audio recording of the hearing will also be made public in a couple of weeks. The media, as well as potential restrictions on journalists and the public's interest, have been a major focus in the early stages of the case. What did the transcript say? I don't particularly want to read it myself at the moment. But we can if you think it'd be good content. We are Charlie XCX. Something's going on in Utah. Tyler Robinson was from Utah. I think we got another one of these like 4chan radicalized little dweeby motherfuckers. Well, they're called Mormons. Yeah, that's what's wrong with Utah. Multiple charges filed against Utah man accused of anti-Semitic threats and making bombs. Over a dozen charges were filed against 21-year-old Skylar Rose. 6 felony charges were filed for manufacture or possession of weapons of mass destruction. Another 4 charges were filed for the possession of a chemical or incendiary explosive, and 1 for threat of terrorism. 3 misdemeanor charges were filed for possession of a dangerous weapon.
Police in Ogden have arrested 21-year-old Skylar Rose, who was allegedly making threats towards Jewish places of worship and anti-Semitic comments online. When police searched his home, they found 7 homemade pipe bombs, 6 of which...
Skylar Rose sounds like it would be a fucking like porn star's name. Their assumed name on OnlyFans or something. Subscribe to my OnlyFans. It's half off this week. I'm Skylar Rose. God damn.
They say were complete and operational. According to a police probable cause statement, police received a tip that someone had tweeted that they wanted to attack a Jewish synagogue. Police linked that X account to Skylar Rose here in Ogden. This was at about 4:30 yesterday. They then obtained a warrant to search his home, and that's where they found those 7 pipe bombs and several firearms. Police say this threat was not directed towards any specific Jewish place of worship, but more broadly towards a Jewish community. There is one synagogue here in Ogden, that's Congregation Brish Shalem. It's the longest running, continuously running synagogue in Utah. I spoke with the president of that synagogue, who says they are on high alert, but they have been enhancing their security protocols for the last 3 to 4 years in response to the rise in anti-Semitism. This includes bulletproof glass, security cameras inside and outside the synagogue, bollards in the parking lot, and armed guards at all services and events. She says that the Jewish community generally feels safe and supported here in Ogden, and that she heard from both the police chief and the mayor early this morning as soon as that arrest was made public. She said she will not be intimidated out of showing up and representing her community. She says that helps to reduce anti-Semitism, and she hopes her congregation does the same. Rose has been charged with 7 counts of possession of a weapon of mass destruction, which is a first-degree felony, as well as threats of terrorism, which are a second-degree felony. Police did not take any additional questions at their press conference. They say this is an ongoing investigation, and they will release more information as they can.
Yeah, I'd probably need a ruling from Flash on this, because this is a very good question, people. I believe pipe bombs are all homemade, aren't they? But they're not made in a factory. Like when you make bombs, like there's easier way. If you have the means to manufacture bombs, you're not going to make a pipe bomb. You see what I'm saying? Like they're not effective other than as like a homemade. I get on it. Pipe bombs are us. Yeah. What the reporter said was probably just redundant, but they didn't know. And that's why, like, that's a question you ask, like, in the newsroom, and then they talk it out, and somebody there is like, oh, well, we come to a consensus, like, oh, yeah, like, all pipe bombs are homemade. So take the word homemade out because it's redundant. I think the military uses larger pipes with rockets attached to them. Okay, fair enough, Flash. Does know somebody mass producing cyber bombs. They're called cyber trucks. Ooh. Ducky throws out an example. The IDF may mass produce pipe bombs. That would kind of be like totally something they would do. But I don't know. Still, if you've got the ability to mass produce bombs, I don't think you would produce pipe bombs. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this subject. Let's do some politics. You want to do some politics? The Assistant Attorney General apparently had a complete meltdown over Christmas. I guess we should get I first. Great idea. Trump official melts down with vulgar attack on MAGA influencers on Christmas. Hamid Dillon, Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights at the Justice Department, launched into a vulgar tirade Sunday night. I'm sorry, it wasn't Christmas. It was over Christmas break. At MAGA influencers for criticizing the Trump administration, leaving a number of onlookers taken aback at her use of derogatory slang term. Conservative influencers, if you think you are keeping the pressure on or winning by spreading bullshit attacks on Donald Trump's hand-picked cabinet, you are not. Dillon wrote in a social media post on X, you are earning money to spread misinformation. You are hoes. Learn an honest profession. Is she talking about Candace Owens? Dillon's tirade came just hours after she fended off attacks from her own fans who criticized her for complaining about supposed election fraud, but as a top official at the DOJ, not acting on it. It's a shame you weren't in a position to do something about it, wrote Reagan administration alum Hal Furman. No ho-ho-hos. Dillon replied to Furman with, it's a shame you were blocked. Oh my God, these are teenagers. We have teenagers running our government. As for Dillon's latest tirade or attack on MAGA influencers was met with a mixed response. I'm not earning one damn dime. MAGA Patriot TGM, a MAGA influencer who's amassed more than 135,000 followers. I'm fed up with inaction. I can believe that you haven't earned a goddamn dime. But that doesn't mean you're not trying your ass off and you don't want to be a conservative influencer. I must have been confusing the Dillon story with the other person who had a meltdown on Christmas. Literally, on Christmas Day, posted to Truth Social 150 times.
We begin this morning with President Trump posting again about Jeffrey Epstein. Last night, he asked when the DOJ will say, quote, no more on the Epstein files and work on election fraud. Claiming, quote, the Dems are the ones who worked with Epstein, not the Republicans. Release all of their names, embarrass them, and get back to helping our country. This from the man who is in picture after picture after picture and video with the man in question.
And I forgot about this until now. Just now it struck me. Somewhere in the Epstein files, he was apparently accused of throwing a baby in Lake Michigan or some shit. I'm going to have to dig further into that one. I don't think it's real, but it's a crazy allegation that apparently exists in these files.
Post follows an incoherent Christmas Day rant where he posted, quote, "Merry Christmas to all, including the many sleazebags who loved Jeffrey Epstein, only to drop him like a dog when things got too hot. Falsely claimed they had nothing to do with him, didn't know him, said he was a disgusting person, and..."
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I got the story wrong. He was watching the 13-year-old's dad or uncle who threw it in the lake. But it was Trump's baby. Okay. Sounds a little crazy even for Trump. Phil Collins. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. He apparently flew on Epstein's plane a lot more times than what we know of. That came out. There's a whole thing. There's a whole thing here about, like, they're still going through the files, the documents. I don't want to say leaked, right? So they've released them. Go, if you really want to hear about this and keep up with what's going on, I would suggest following Dropsite News, Ryan Grimm. CoffeeZilla also does a good job. They apparently came out, the DOJ actually released 7 different volumes, but the 8th volume they didn't actually release, but reporters were able to go to the website and figure it out. And apparently because Doge fired a bunch of staffers that knew how to use Adobe, and they canceled their Adobe licenses. They didn't know how to actually redact the documents, and people have been able to see all kinds of crazy shit in this last tranche of documents. And they're still combing through it because it's overwhelming. And when Flash, when did it get released? Like right before Christmas. So blocked searching for Trump, but didn't block Trump with a space after it. This is what people who have worked in bureaucracy and done this kind of paperwork for years and years and years, that's that kind of institutional knowledge that they have. We're lucky that the fascist regime that has come in is so fucking incompetent. It was the Friday before Christmas, but I don't know that the reporters discovered it until Monday, Sunday, or something like that. And then, last week was Christmas and shit. It's a lot to comb through. We're going to be hearing about the claims and the documents for the several weeks to come.
Then blame, of course, President Donald J. Trump. He also added a cryptic warning saying, quote, "That's the way it is in the world of corrupt Democrat politics. Enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas." It's the president, of course. And that was just one of the nearly 100
that's pretty
times Trump posted
worrying, I guess,
rage-baiting spree on Christmas Day, in which he once again peddled 2020 election conspiracy theories, wished a Merry Christmas to everyone, including the, quote, radical left scum, and shared false claims about Somali immigrants. Joining us now is...
I've been calling Trump a pedo for years. There's no way I'd stop now.
MS Now political analyst and columnist for the Boston Globe and writer of the Supreme Court newsletter, The Gavel.
I was too.
MS Now.
My stomach was upside down.
Dispatch and author.
Prometheus, you got a preference?
Kayla, I gotta start with you. Mm-hmm. Now, 150.
Oh, Socks is over my shoulder here. He's looking like he wants to come say hey. Is he? He's kind of laying with Maynard. That's not usual. They were almost touching. That never happens. That's my cuddle bug. He did not sleep with me last night. I was very upset. He was under the bed for some reason. I don't know why. Oh yeah, back to Trump truthing a lot.
Times on one day. The man tweets or tells someone else to tweet a lot. But it seems for
oh, Socks is cute.
As long as you've covered him, as long as he's been in our lives, the thing that has been very clear is when Trump is feeling like his back is against the wall, that's when we start seeing this.
He's a handsome boy.
That's what he starts seeing this. How is the White House kind of taking in and explaining these rage-baiting
One thing that I thought was so interesting, particularly about his Epstein comments, is just a few days ago, he was saying he felt terrible for people like Bill Clinton being in these photos and sort of expressing sympathy for people who had association with Jeffrey Epstein, including himself, who had more than a decade-long friendship with Epstein. And so that seemed to sharply change. And now he's again putting that attention back on Democrats, which has been the White House's strategy from the beginning. They say, look at these other people who had relationships with Epstein. Look at Congress. They don't want the attention to be on President Trump. But to his point about the DOJ focusing on other things, they are not going to be. The DOJ has explicitly said the next few weeks will be committed to looking through these documents, making new redactions. So this is a story that is not going to go away for the White House, especially going into the new year. And it's largely a problem of their own making. This is something that they could have been doing from day one. President Trump said that he was going to release the Epstein files. This is a problem that they have walked into. And it seems that some of the loudest voices that are upset are Trump's own supporters. So it's a political issue of his own making. And there's a lot that could have been done leading up to this moment to really avoid the problems that they're seeing now.
It's important to note that Donald Trump himself was a Democrat when he was hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. So while he's pointing fingers at the Democrat, he himself was a Democrat at that point. Molly.
I'm curious. I wanted to reach out to you, David. So we have seen this has really spiraled, this Epstein story. It just continues to go on. Republicans have had
that's putting it lightly
bad special elections. Right, it's there's
seriously, Flash.
A lot of
supposedly MSNBC is in the pocket of Democrats. Then they do shit like that. Don't forget, Trump was a Democrat when he was with Epstein.
I mean, do you see any kind of feeling or
that sounds like an order coming from their Comcast owners?
There's some that Trump may, in fact, not be the sort of, that he may be, in fact, a paper tiger.
Well, it depends how you look at it. I mean, I think clearly people are starting to talk and act according to the fact that Trump's not going to be president forever, no matter what some of his supporters might prefer. And so you're starting to see conversations and actions.
My lord, they rebranded. This is what used to be MSNBC. This is the remnants of MSNBC following whatever unholy merger happened, because they spun off like actual NBC from this network. I'm sorry, like if you say MS now, people probably don't really know what you're talking about yet, do they? I'm just gonna call it Meow. We're watching Meow. I hate it. I hate the MS Now. But it originally was a partnership with Microsoft or something, and that ended. I forget how all this how the naming convention worked. Really, clinically? I feel like I feel like we did this story maybe over the summer, and Scarborough had a whole weird monologue about it. Well, it's been a long year. It has simultaneously felt like this year flew by and was the longest year fucking ever. Thank you guys for spending it with me. Several of you have been with me multiple years now. It has been a decade of a year. It seems like it's going to be more of that. More of the same this coming year. Holy shit. We're entering into the midterms. I'm a political show. We're going into midterms. We're back to debates and shit. This was a lull year. And apparently, hey, they're saying that we're going to get like the biggest tax returns we've ever gotten. Trump also apparently trying to save the economy by just handing out money to people.
There's this fake narrative that the
Sorry, I had no clue I was playing Morning Joe. I've been asked to give a content warning. Anytime I play Morning Joe, Joe and Mika are a little grating.
Democrats talk about affordability. They just say the word. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. The word affordability. I inherited a mess. I inherited a total mess. It's a con job. I think affordability is the greatest con job. They look at you and they say, affordability. They don't say anything else. Everyone says, oh, the word affordability is a con job by the Democrats.
That was President Trump multiple times earlier this month, slamming the focus on affordability ahead of next year's midterm elections. But despite the president's insistence,
Moaning Joe,
the White House is reportedly scrambling.
Willie and this guy do a good job, though, actually.
Scrambling to find ways to neutralize it. Joining us now, staff writer for The Atlantic, Tolu Olunaripa. He's out with a new piece titled The Santa Presidency, in which Tolu argues the president's preferred method of dealing with the affordability issue is simply through direct cash handouts.
I love it. He didn't fuck up Tolu, but totally fucked up affordability.
Tolu, great to see you. Let's start.
That's the kind of thing I would do.
From your article. In it, you write this. After a year in which Americans' pocketbooks have been walloped by Trump's tariffs, cuts to the social safety net, and apparent nonchalance in the face of spiking healthcare costs, the president is turning to the allure of sweepstakes-style checks from the government to help coax voters out of their financial malaise ahead of next year's midterm elections.
That's what they've always accused Democrats of doing. They're like, oh, Democrats are buying votes. I've heard it for fucking years. Democrats just give away money to everybody, buying votes. And this motherfucker's going to actually do it. Literally going to give people money and say vote for Republicans before the midterms. Every accusation is a confession coming from the right.
It likely won't work, economists from across the political spectrum told me. One likened the payments to a bandage over a bullet wound. Tolu, you continue, although the proposals each have different designs and purposes, taken together, they represent a concerted effort to neutralize the cost of living concerns dominating voters' minds. It's a really smart piece, noticeable trend. We can please tick through some of these examples of the president promising just to hand out money to Americans. But we should note, even some Republicans, including Senator Ron Johnson, normally a staunch Trump ally, has thrown some...
I didn't even look at the marketplace. Fuck it. I couldn't do it last year.
Yeah, John, that's exactly right. This president is very transparent in what he's trying to do. It's clear that he sees the November elections coming up next year as an existential moment in his presidency. He saw what happened last month, where his party lost in several states, in large part because of the state of the economy and voters telling pollsters that they were not happy with the cost of living and the fact that they can't afford the cost of housing and childcare and all of the other things that are causing the affordability crisis to be a dominant issue in our politics. And so his response to that is basically to figure out ways to give people money. He's talked about giving a $2,000 tariff dividend check to voters in the new year, in the middle of 2026, right ahead of the election. He's proposed giving $12 billion to farmers who are struggling with the trade war. He's talked about giving money for people who have new babies in 2025, 2026, and 2027. And he's also talked about trying to do new and bigger tax cuts in the future. And so the president is trying to figure out ways to put money in people's pockets. He's dealing with affordability crises on things that, including healthcare, with people's Obamacare premiums about to spike in January. He's talked about giving people direct money to pay for their healthcare. A lot of these are kinds of bandages that don't deal with the structural issues in the economy that several economists say are causing the affordability crisis. But with the timeline being November 2026 in the president's mind, he's trying to figure out what he can do between now and then to try to stave off what many are expecting to be a major loss for his party in the midterms.
Tolu, I want to drill down on this $2,000 check proposal. I mean, anyone who's paying rent in any medium to major sized American city knows that $2,000 doesn't go very far. On top of that, you have Americans paying health premiums. A friend of mine, single man in his mid-30s, is paying $923 a month for health care out of pocket on the exchange. Who is going to get, assuming the proposal moves forward, get these $2,000 checks, and why won't it work?
Well, first, it is a pretty big assumption that this will move forward. The president has talked about this. He hasn't really negotiated with Congress about how to actually make this a reality. Many Republicans do not want money from tariff revenue to be going to people's pocketbooks. They say we have $38 trillion in debt and we should be focusing on paying that down. And many of these Republicans are against the tariffs in the first place, and they're hoping the Supreme Court will strike them down and there will not be money to give tariff dividends. Instead, that money will be going back to the companies and individuals that paid the tariffs in the first place. But put that all to the side and say, if we are able to figure out a way to make this happen, the president has said he wants this to go to middle income people. He wants every family to get a $2,000 check. Now, this is something that would cost hundreds of billions of dollars. And so there may not even be the tariff money to cover that. But it's clear that he's trying to figure out how to get this to the voters that
there is no tariff money.
November. He's trying to.
There's certainly not tariff money to cover that.
Many middle income people are facing as they try to make ends meet when they talk about rent and insurance and childcare. A lot of people who are middle income are really struggling, and those are some of the key voters who are going to show up in November.
The new piece, The Santa Presidency, is available online.
Roggy, welcome in. I mean, I appreciate that, I guess. Multiple people have now. I have been doing this long enough that I've had people tell me that they have converted. The most shocking one is DM. If you guys were here for DM, that was like in 2022. He was like a 22-year-old probably in 2022. 21, 22 or something. I asked him if he masturbated. Because he seemed very sexually repressed. He's done a complete 180. He comes by and like tells me hi and shit. It's okay, Rocky. It's okay. Everybody can realize their mistakes. You're a big man for being able to admit it. I greatly appreciate that. But I mean, it's not anything particular that I did. He is just that, overwhelmingly incompetent. Oh, out here trying to bribe people. Did you have a good Christmas, Rocky? Before I do this next story, this is probably the one I'm going to clip and put up on YouTube and ship. So before I do this next story, I want to make sure Rocky had a good Christmas. I'm going to pack another bowl. We're going to talk about Minnesota. Shirley, you must be joking. No, and he totally wants you to call him Shirley because he's looking for internet fame. On a personal level, it probably should have been a bleak year for me, but overall has a lot of high points, I guess. I don't know. Michael, welcome in. For everything that happened, I should have probably been pretty down about it. But, I'm like having Curiouser here and like spending Christmas with her was wonderful. This is like the third Christmas I've spent with Curiouser. She's always amazing, but like I think she's no, I'm Christmased out. I'm done with Christmas already, but like she's got to recharge for a little bit. I mean, I'll take his $2,000 check. And if he wants to give me some tax money, he can. I doubt it. I'm a contractor. But you should totally cheat on your taxes because fuck, he's decimated the IRS. Who's gonna fucking catch you? They don't have anybody there. This is not legal or financial advice. You should not listen to me ever on anything. However, cheat on your taxes, because who the fuck is gonna care? Well, if you're politically advantageous, you can be an absolute nobody, and just because it's politically advantageous to the administration, they will make your life a living hell. Kilmar Abrego Garcia could tell you about that. Aww. She is very special. Grok will catch you cheating on your taxes even if you don't. See, that's another reason to do it. Justin's advice on getting high is probably pretty solid because I've been doing it for so fucking long. Pretty successfully, I guess. I told the story. I didn't get high the first couple of times I got high. So like the first time I ever smoked was on we were on a trip. It's probably a sophomore or a junior. And we were on a school trip to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We were competing in a speech and drama tournament. And that's the Edgewater Hotel. I remember it. I've been to Gatlinburg many times, so I know about the like hotels. Not specifically because that's where I first smoked weed. But like I do remember that. But that's not when I got high. I don't know that the kids that I was smoking weed with had actual weed. I don't know if I properly inhaled it to where it gets into the lungs. It could be any number of factors. It could have been all the factors. It could have been shit weed and I didn't know how to inhale it. But a couple months after that, I worked at a radio station when I was a junior in high school. And a senior. The whole time I was in high school, I worked at a radio station. And like, so there's part-time what they call board ops. And like, they're the people that are running the board for, okay, if you've got somebody down at a car dealership, there's some minimum wage person in an entry-level job running the board for them as they're down there. They set up the equipment, talking to the microphone. You have, high school students, college students that are the board ops that do the grunt work. And the very first job that you started at my radio station was doing Cincinnati Reds games. They were super easy. If you missed a commercial break, it wasn't a big deal. And you were on the AM station, so if you fucked it up. So you start off doing the Reds games, and then I worked my way up to being the head board op. But in fucking 6 months, the other people, shit happens, people leave, do other things. And I also excelled at the job. But when I first got there, the other two board ops that worked with me, they were the DJs at the bars that all the not high schoolers, all the teenagers, you could get in at 18, but you couldn't drink until you're 21. But this was in Williamson, West Virginia. It wasn't in Kentucky where I was living. But you could get into the bar at 18, but you couldn't drink until you're 21. So all the people fresh out of high school and shit, they went over. It was called the Borderline. But the other one was Collies or some shit like that. And the two DJs for those bars were my coworkers. So on a fucking Saturday night one time, I went with one of them to the bar. I'm 15 or 16. Can't even get into the 18 bar. Definitely can't drink. But they're giving me drinks and shit. And I'm at the bar. I had a crazy fucking life. But I go outside with the DJ's girlfriend, and I'm sitting in her. It's like a Monte Carlo. It's like a '97 Monte Carlo or some shit. And she rolls up a joint, and I smoke with her, and that's when I actually got high. Cause holy fucking shit! And I remember it being a life-changing. I was like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit! I was never high before. Cause everything changed. Night, Sky Comet. I'll be here for New Year's. We're going to watch... last year, we tried to watch the New Year's Rockin' Eve, the Dick Clark, and it sucked. And we ended up going to an Atlanta news station. We watched a Big Boy concert, and that was amazing. So join me for New Year's Eve. I'll have different shit up. We'll check in with New Year's Rockin' Eve, but it sucked, so we might find something that's better. Kind of deal. We're gonna do a troll patrol where we're gonna do the best stories, biggest stories, rundown of 2025. Probably Dick being dead. That's what did it, Cat. You're right. Ryan Seacrest is just not the same. 3 or 4 years ago was when I had that revelation that it was David Byrne and Miley Cyrus and Sia were the musical guests. I'm like, oh, these are all my favorite artists. And that's when I had the realization, oh God, this is geared towards me. I'm old and would be home on New Year's. It was a wild revelation to have. That's awesome. I had no idea that I would be going to any concerts in 2025. Had no expectations of going to any concerts and seeing some of the coolest concerts I've ever been to in my life. The Weeknd and Playboi Carti was amazing. The Melvins. Fuck. This is the second time I've seen the Melvins, and they were so goddamn good. Devo and the B-52s. I am such a huge Devo fan. And I never in a million years would have thought I would get to see Devo. And I got to see Devo. And the B-52s were great as well. Goddamn, They Might Be Giants. The Might Be Giants were fucking amazing. Oh yeah, you'll definitely hear the Backstreet Boys on the oldies station. You think oldies is like the Beach Boys. the animals and the birds and shit like that. You guys want to see Media Winch's Dippy Tacos? Of course you do. Of fucking course you do. God damn, I'm hungry. She made shrimp Alfredo ravioli. But she didn't know I was doing a show. I might get some shrimp ravioli after I am finished with this. But also, buckle up, buckaroos. This is going to be a long night. Let's get back to the news. I've rambled enough. Critics are demanding accountability from Tim Walz amid a daycare controversy and fraud allegations. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is under growing criticism after a viral online video raised questions about taxpayer dollars going to a Minneapolis daycare center that appeared inactive despite receiving substantial public funding. The video, released by independent journalist Nick Shirley, and I'm going to explain to you why that label should be mocked, shows him visiting the Quality Leering Center, which is hilarious. It's one of the reasons why this story has such potence for the right wing. The sign being misspelled. Quality Leering Center is fucking hilarious. Shirley knows that the facility, which is licensed for 99 children and received roughly $4 million in state funding, displayed a sign that misspelled learning as leering. There's no way we're gonna watch this whole fucking video, but is this a shorter clip?
Where the money's going? What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question. Are there children? There's no children inside this building. Potentially the largest fraud scandal in U.S. history is taking place in Minnesota as literally billions.
First of all, I would like to say that the perpetrator of the largest fraud scandal in history is actually a sitting senator. He's a Republican by the name of Rick Scott. We're going to go into that here in just a little bit.
Millions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud it could...
Notice funneled through Somali-ran businesses. He's leaving off some crucial details here.
Actually almost replaced the entire GDP.
And I think he's actually citing the story I'm going to show you here in a little bit.
Of Somalia. These fraudsters have worked hand in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be given to fraudulent businesses underneath.
Yeah, he's even citing the organization Feeding Our Future, but not showing you the woman who was actually responsible for that organization. This man is not a journalist. He is a propagandist. He's a wannabe influencer. Please, right-wingers, stop falling for this shit.
Welfare purposes. Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia like the Al-Shabaab, and others enriched themselves all at the U.S. taxpayers' expense. And in this video, we will break down all of the fraud from start to finish, from going to the fraudulent businesses and confronting the people who are making millions of dollars from the government. And we will also be confronting the incompetent government leaders who let this fraud happen, and to make this...
Look at this kid in his hoodie. He looks so sloppy. My God, this is who right-wingers are letting... You're letting this punk-ass kid tell you what to think with highly manipulative video. He's just going in and harassing people, and then when they get angry that they're being harassed, and he's all calm... It plays to your biases because you want to fucking believe him. But also, he's not uncovering anything that hasn't already been uncovered. We're going to go over that. When he approached the building on a weekday, there were no children visible. The office appeared closed, and a woman at the site loudly protested, incorrectly accusing him of being with immigration enforcement. Now, he went to the building before they were open. That's one of the things that they don't tell you. He was there before 2 o'clock. The building apparently opens at 2 o'clock. It's like a after-school facility or something. The footage quickly spread across social media and drew national attention amid a wider scandal involving alleged fraud in Minnesota's social service programs, which federal officials say may have cost taxpayers billions of dollars. So far, what they have accounted has been around $2 million. May have billions is a wide stretch. Critics argue the problems ranging from daycare funding to other public assistance programs have gone unchecked by state leadership. Republican lawmakers and conservative commentators have seized on the video to call for accountability from Walz. Minnesota Rep. Tom Emmer shared the footage on social media, questioning how millions in taxpayer funds could go to a center that appears empty and misspelled its own name. Other critics, including Representative Mike Lawler, political figures such as Elon Musk and Vice President J.D. Vance, have used the controversy to press for investigations and even hearings in Congress. Some analysts and officials have also linked the daycare funding concerns to broader debates over immigration and fraud, noting that many of the entities involved are connected to immigrant communities. However, there is no indication that the Quality Learning Center itself has been charged with wrongdoing. The Walz administration has defended its record, and state officials say investigations into fraud continue, though they dispute the scale suggested by critics. They emphasize that evidence of fraud must be verified and that reforms are underway to improve oversight of social service programs. One of the so-called critics of Governor Tim Walz is this longtime radio host by the name of Hugh Hewitt. He was on his show on the Salem News Channel talking about the alleged fraud scheme.
Use 6 of the excuses for the massive fraud in the Gopher State that Tim Walz has been atop the government to see happen. Looking the other way, running for vice president, clearly,
So we went from a little punk-ass kid wearing a fucking dirty hoodie to this skeleton who's already got 1 foot in the grave. Definitely a face for radio.
I didn't know that until I dove in deep. But let's make sure you hear all of Tim Walz's excuses for up to $9 billion of missing money to crooks. Cut number 9, this is my favorite.
This is what happens when your own federal government wages war against you. This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit.
He's correct.
This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy when you hear the Vice President of the United States talk about now white people won't have to apologize for being white. That's never happened once in my whole damn life.
It's the white supremacist excuse. That's a new one. Cut number 10, there's another one.
That's how this works. And so...
Well, I guarantee you it has something to do with white supremacy if you're not going after Mississippi, if you're not going after Florida, if you're not going after the other welfare fraud schemes, if you're not even talking about the biggest perpetrator of fraud in this specific instance, who was a white woman. She wasn't Somali. We're going to get to that.
Up this, would I have gone out? You know, if you think the governor goes out and checks somebody on Medicaid and if they were there, no, but that's somebody in government needed to do that. And if they didn't do that, or if there were loopholes in this, and what we found is these are poorly written and it left openings, and the goal was to get the money out.
The goal was to get the money out. Cut number 11, another one.
They're going to continue to come up with numbers that don't have it there, and it's sensationalized. I don't expect anything different from this administration.
It's sensationalism on the administration's part. Cut number 12.
The lack of leadership out of President Trump and his administration, the lack of any courage amongst members of Congress to deal with the health care situation, continuing to put out misinformation, continuing to dabble in conspiracy theory. But this
misinformation,
he's correct.
Conspiracy theory committed the fraud. Cut number 13.
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed.
A lot of white men have to be held accountable in this massive fraud. Cut number 14.
I think it's asking us then, you know, for every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men asking us to do more about that. I think it's crime in general.
Got it? Just doubling down here, different setting. White men are the problem. Cut number 15.
Medicaid fraud will stretch across all racial demographics, all ethnic groups. So I think it's really important for us to note each community's got this in their own midst, but to blame them and say that they should have been responsible for stopping it, I think that's a pretty hard reach. I think
everybody does it. That's basically everybody does it. Every community's got its bad eggs. Cut number 16.
Crimes, you would hope that it's being taught both at home and at schools and in our society. But no, I think this idea that the Somali community's to blame for this because they didn't do more, I think that's how we got into this. And
that's how we got into it. Blaming the Somali community in Minneapolis is how we got into $9 billion of fraud. Cut number 16. No, 17.
All this work that's being done, Donald Trump brought this to the attention like this is something brand new. This is not brand new, and it's been being worked on. But he made it white hot and very dangerous.
It's Donald Trump's fault for making it white hot. We were working on this. We were under the hood. Not. Cut number 18.
I think it's an unfortunate situation, but yeah, I think you need to be more skeptical now in this world. I think the COVID pandemic and the releasing of some of the rules, the relaxing of the rules, fought.
COVID. That's the ticket. COVID. One more. Cut number 19.
And I love how this dude is just Frankensteining together several different interviews from Tim Walz and making him say what he wants him to say. And even his selectively edited shit still comes across well for Tim Walz. It's just this asshole is framing it for stupid people.
I understand when I speak up, it brings Donald Trump's petty vindictiveness to Minnesota. And this is all about coming and attacking us. He didn't know anything about this. He doesn't know how a Medicaid program works. The only thing he knows about it is he's going to double the cost over the next week. But he doesn't know how these programs work or anything about it.
He doesn't.
So he heard and somebody told him the Somalis are
This
stealing
whole
money.
story is just Donald Trump's fault.
Yeah, it is. Because this story is not really a story. It's been an ongoing investigation for many years now. Here is from Fox fucking News. Meet Minnesota's fraud mastermind accused of playing God and wielding fake racism claims in Somali scandal. Her name is Amy Bach. Amy Bach enforced compliance in the $250 million scheme by cutting off operators who refused to submit unrealistic meal counts. She was the one committing fraud and threatening to cut off these providers unless they committed fraud for her. Did you catch that?
Meanwhile, 21 minutes before the top of the hour, 6 more people have been charged in connection with massive fraud schemes in Minnesota. The Justice Department accusing these suspects of making various housing and medical claims reaching upwards of $6 million. Here's the prosecutor.
Minnesotans and taxpayers deserve to know the truth of the fraud. The fraud is not small. It isn't isolated. The magnitude cannot be overstated. What we see in Minnesota is not a handful of bad actors committing crimes. It's a staggering industrial scale fraud.
I think it's so important for him to say that people are trying to minimize it. That should not be minimized.
And they're not even going to talk about it. So their own news hit on the TV isn't going to talk about all the shit that their actual reporting uncovered. Wow. The alleged mastermind behind Minnesota's $250 million Feeding Our Future fraud scandal tied to the Somali community is accused of wielding extraordinary power through threats and what the government described as fake claims of racism. Amy Bach, who founded the Feeding Our Future nonprofit in 2016, used her growing authority to silence dissent, discourage scrutiny from state regulators, and cut off operators who refused to comply. She was extorting these people. While other defendants splurged on luxury homes, cars, and overseas properties, prosecutors said Bach instead controlled the levers of approval and reimbursement that allowed the scheme to flourish. One witness even recently described Bach as a god in how she enforced her authority. Court records show that $1 million flowed to Bach's longtime boyfriend, who appeared in trial exhibits posing inside a Rolls Royce with Bach standing nearby, underscoring her alleged proximity to the wealth generated by the scheme. This is Amy Bach. Does she look Somali to you? Trial evidence painted a picture of trial. This has already gone to trial. painted a picture of a dramatic rise, with Bach going from running a little-known nonprofit to overseeing one of the largest federal meal sponsors in Minnesota as she gained influence. For years, Feeding Our Future operated modestly, handling roughly $3 million to $4 million annually in federal child nutrition reimbursements. The trajectory changed abruptly during the COVID-19 pandemic, when emergency rule changes loosened oversight and allowed sponsors to submit claims without normal verification. As executive director of Feeding Our Future, Bach approved meal sites, some of which were fake, and then certified the claims, signing off on the reimbursements from the Minnesota Department of Education. She would soon preside over a network that claimed to have served 91 million meals, for which prosecutors say the scammers fraudulently received $250 million in federal funds, a scale of growth that far outpaced the nonprofit's pre-pandemic size and internal capacity. Later filings and sentencing releases described the total impact as closer to $3 million. To keep the scheme going, prosecutors said Bach used her authority to intimidate and control operators, approving implausible meal counts and cutting off those who refused to comply. Here she is posing with the Rolls Royce and her boyfriend, I guess, Malcolm Watson Jr. But why are we not talking about Amy Bach? Why does no right-winger know the name Amy Bach? If you were so concerned and this is such a huge scandal, why do you not know Amy Bach's name? And that she was convicted in like 2023? What? Because Nick Shirley didn't tell you her name? Nick Shirley didn't tell you to get outraged about the mastermind behind the plot that you guys are so up in arms about? It's insane. But I don't believe any of you actually care about fraud, because I never hear a one of you mention sitting Senator Rick Scott, who, am I mistaken? He holds a leadership position with Senate Republicans. Made a play to be majority leader, didn't he? Rick Scott tries to rewrite history on his $1.7 billion Medicare fraud controversy. This is what Tim Walz was talking about with the white men. Conventional political wisdom would typically advise candidates to steer clear of mentioning their past controversies, but U.S. Senator Rick Scott went out of his way, quite literally, to attend former President Donald Trump's hush money trial in Manhattan, and reminded Americans that he once ran a healthcare company that was slapped with the largest Medicare fraud fine in U.S. history. In a press conference outside the courthouse in Manhattan, where Trump is on trial for fraud, Scott compared the criminal charges against Trump to the federal Medicare and Medicaid fraud investigation that resulted in $1.7 billion in fines against Columbia HCA, the healthcare company that helped make Scott the United States' wealthiest U.S. senator. So let me ask you another question. If you guys care, right-wingers in the audience, so much about fraud, why aren't you talking about the Mississippi fraud case? Because, my God, that one has retired pro football player Brett Favre retired pro wrestler, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Like, it's a wild fucking case, but you guys aren't talking about it because I don't believe you that you actually care about fraud, because you don't mention shit about Mississippi.
Since State Auditor Shad White first announced the largest welfare scandal in Mississippi's history 5 years ago, most of those indicted took plea deals, and today they still haven't been sentenced.
Yeah, perhaps even more surprising, no one has gone to trial until now. Investigative reporter CJ LeMaster joins us now with new developments in this case. CJ?
Well, Howard Holly, $77 million meant for the poorest Mississippians instead doled out like candy to former wrestlers, athletes, and nonprofits. But despite that, only one person is serving time behind bars more than 5 years later. Now, as the trial of Ted DiBiase Jr. draws closer, we explore how justice in this case continues to be delayed. Former pro wrestler Ted DiBiase Jr.'s federal trial begins January 6th. He's the only person indicted in the welfare fraud scandal.
This is the son of the $1 Million Man.
Wire fraud, theft, and money laundering. Prosecutors claimed he forged contracts to steal millions in funds meant for needy Mississippians so he could personally benefit. He's one of 7 people indicted in that sprawling conspiracy, but the only one serving time behind bars right now is the former head of the state's Department of Human Services, John Davis. A judge sentenced him to 32 years for state charges. He has yet to be sentenced for his federal crimes. The case for Latimer Smith, the former DHS employee, is under seal. It's unclear whether that case is still active. Nancy New, the head of the nonprofit this money funneled through, pleaded guilty to state and federal charges 3 years ago, but her sentencing also delayed. Same with her son, Zach. They've been out on bond since the plea deal. Ted DiBiase Jr.'s brother, Brett, pleaded guilty to state and federal charges too, but he hasn't been sentenced yet either. Christy Webb, former director of another nonprofit that helped grab this money, also hasn't received a sentence. Why such a long delay? It's believed all but Webb are cooperating with federal investigators, and some of that could come out in next month's trial against Ted DiBiase Jr. At the same time, we've had no new indictments in 2 years. Now, State Auditor Shad White has maintained his office did its job, but now it's up to federal authorities to tie up any loose ends here. And keep in mind, even though former NFL great Brett Favre took welfare dollars for speaking engagements he didn't give, Favre has yet to be charged, though he's paid some of that money back. Neither is the man who ran the state during this time.
Charge him!
Bryant, despite conversations and messages that appear to show some degree of involvement. Howard?
The article we were reading from was from a couple of years ago, Flash. Yeah, Jim Justice just became a senator. And who? Shreve? They must be new too, because I don't know them. Yeah, Rick Scott was the wealthiest U.S. senator at the time of that article. And right-wingers, you care so much about fraud, yet you voted for a man literally convicted of fraud. I don't get it. I'm supposed to care about Somali daycares in Minnesota when you guys ignore all of this. And I don't even know, if people are guilty of something in Minnesota, fucking charge them. And that seems like what the state has been doing since I showed you that the ringleader has literally been convicted. But Nick Shirley didn't show you her picture, did he? Because Nick Shirley is not a real journalist. Nick Shirley is a propagandist and a wannabe influencer that is trying to get famous. He's trying to get famous on YouTube, and he is wanting your views and clicks. He is using you. He is feeding you a narrative that you are apt to believe because it fits your already preconceived biases, in order to get famous. And then all of you have the nerve to fucking share it all over social media, tell me that I need to watch it. You're just giving him free publicity for his bullshit where he's manipulating you. And it's not like this is the first time the right has done this. May I remind you about James O'Keefe and Acorn, where he went into Acorn, deceptively edited a video that made it seem like they were giving money out to a pimp that was abusing women, but Acorn never did anything of the sorts. But man, the video makes for good play on cable news, doesn't it? The dude in the pimp outfit. Republicans defunded that organization, and they never did anything wrong. And if you don't believe me, look it up. Acorn never did anything wrong. You guys just fell for bullshit, and then you made a celebrity out of James O'Keefe. We're still dealing with that goddamn hemorrhoid on society. To this day, even after he defrauded his own organization, Project Veritas, he defrauded it. He committed fraud to make himself famous, created a whole organization and defrauded that organization, and you guys still share his shit out. It's pathetic. Stop falling for grifters. You're all so stupid. Stupid.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes. Yes. And the New York Post out here amplifying it. And there's all these so-called journalists and these bullshit stations that are owned by Sinclair, Nexstar, that are right-wing. They're amplifying this stupid bullshit.
Don't come to this area.
What's your response to the allegations? Is there fraud going on here? No, it's a video. I just want to know.
This is earlier today, I think.
Huh?
Get the out of here.
What's your response to the allegations? Is there fraud going on here? And is there children? That's all.
Now, the sign is misspelled. It says Quality Leering Center, which is fucking hilarious. Another reason why the story is so potent. It's complete bullshit for all the reasons that I broke down earlier, but that's another thing. The allegation, easy to spread, easy to digest, but the truth takes me 30 minutes to explain to you of why it's a bullshit allegation. That's why media literacy in this country is gonna be our downfall. The lack of critical thinking skills. And it's yet another thing that's going to help to usher in the fascist regime. DHS today knocking on doors in Minneapolis.
For Valley de Lanza, this is the location, this is where everybody comes.
This is one of the locations from the Shirley video.
Say like other businesses that you partner with, that you use for a service of any kind, maybe transportation or anything like that? No,
we provide, usually parents, they come like this, drop the kids, they go to work, and then we take care of them.
Awesome. And who actually oversees the receipt of those documents and I-9?
Looking like rent-a-cops to me.
Are you guys associated with business next door? No. Do you know when the last time someone's been there? It seems locked up and closed, but we had. No? Have you seen anybody come and go from there?
Yesterday I was working in Jordan. I go around, so yesterday I was not here.
Okay.
So I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
And once again, I could do a whole show where we just watch fucking people get detained by ICE, highlight different cases of ICE trampling on people's rights. It's an everyday fucking thing now. We're going to do just a couple to highlight the injustices going on in our country. Land of the free my ass.
New at 11, a federal judge has dismissed an indictment against a TikTok streamer shot by a federal
Fuck yeah.
over in South LA. That judge says Carlitos Ricardo Parias, who goes by Richard LA, was denied access to his lawyers while being held in detention. The judge also cites the government's failure to meet discovery deadlines, including timely release of
trampled on his rights.
Shooting. Agents accused Parias of ramming his car into their vehicles after they boxed him in, but video raises some serious questions about those claims. His trial was set to begin on Tuesday. The judge dismissed the indictment with prejudice, meaning prosecutors cannot refile the same charges again. But Parias could remain in detention as his immigration case moves forward.
Flash, you should totally do that. I spent years not doing this because I didn't think I was intelligent. I've always wanted to be a political talk show host. I didn't think I was intelligent enough or well-informed enough. I thought there were like 100 more books I need to read before I do this. But then, you see Tim Pool, you see Ben Shapiro, you see Charlie Kirk, and I'm like, shit. I know I'm a better broadcaster than all of them. Family says a man detained by ICE is apparently here legally, despite the fact that he's being detained by ICE. Of course.
What I do for be arrested, like what is my crime or something like that. And he told me, no, you enter illegal to this country.
From behind bars of the Butler County Jail, a 22-year-old just detained by ICE is telling us his story, claiming he has no criminal record and is in the country.
Clip shit. You guys should clip.
Arrested Arturo Rafael.
If you guys think there's anything that would make a good clip, please clip it, and then I'll probably take the clip and put it up on YouTube and TikTok and shit like that. Please help me do that. If you guys think shit would make a good clip, do it. Do it. Clip more. Carla, welcome in. Please run for city council. And that's another thing. Any of my friends, if you run for office, friends, you're all my friends here in the chat. If you're in the chat, you're in my community. Anybody in my community, if you run for office, I will do any kind of multimedia for you for free, whatever you need. And we can talk about whatever strategy we need to do. You want to get together, you want to make some fucking Facebook, TikToks, Reels, shit like that. I'll edit them for you. You can just send me the footage. I'll put campaign logos and shit on there. You need a logo, I can make a logo for you. I recommend if you've got money, get a graphic designer, but if you need a logo and you don't have money, I can make you a serviceable logo. Paradigm shift, I actually will, thank you. But also hit up Paradigm Shift. Leslie, welcome in. But that is, if you are running for office, that is like what I can do for the cause. I feel like I'm doing it for the greater good. And I don't even have to agree with you on everything. But if we get younger people, independent people, poorer people in positions of power, I will be very fucking happy. Don't have to agree with me on everything. I'm Paradigm Shift coming in hot, my friend. I hope you had a good Christmas. I think everybody knows you're kidding. Paradigm Shift is definitely my friend. Do not take his joshing. I'm glad it was great. I'm glad to hear that, my friend. You want to smoke up with me? We're gonna get on together. We're totally gonna do some shit together. I still want to get that roast going. I was gonna do that for my birthday and never could get it together because I was going through some shit at the time. But I was gonna do the roast of Justin Freakin. Paradigm Shift was totally gonna be on. Sparkles asked me what was within limits and what was off limits, and I was like, whatever. If you can make me cry, go for it. Just to let you guys know, there's gonna be Dave hosting Redolent Thought, Paradigm Shift, and then Sparkles. Thought it was a great lineup. Carla, you could totally be on if you think you could roast me. I want to know what happened with that police chase, because that car, everybody thinks that car fucking wrecked, right? Eventually. It's almost 11. We gotta get out of here. We gotta get to live music. I want live music. We already did that. Okay. Yeah, rest of the shit's pretty fun. All right, so let's catch up on some Christmas shenanigans. We've had some shit go on over Christmas we didn't get to talk about. A couple attempted to sell an infant for a 6-pack of beer to a stranger at a campground in Benton County, Arkansas. Well, I mean, if you're going to sell a kid, Benton County is probably the best place to do it. That is the home of Walmart. There's a lot of money there. Couple entered plea deals after signing a contract to sell their 2-month-old child to a stranger. They wanted beer and cash. 22-year-old Darian Urban and 21-year-old Charlene Ellers were arrested on September 21st on 2024 after a caller from the Hideaway campground claimed that they sold their 2-month-old child. Upon arrival, investigators spoke to witnesses who gave them a written contract signed by Urban and Ellers that read, I, Darian Urban and Shailene Ellers, are signing our rights over to Cody Nathaniel Martin of our baby boy redacted for $1,000. Disclaimer, after signing this, there will be no changing y'all two's mind and never contact again. The contract was reportedly written after a man named Ricky Crawford overheard Eller asking another couple for a beer and offered to give the pair beer if he could keep the baby for the night, to which they agreed. Crawford brought the child to Martin, who lived in a different camper at the campsite. After the couple thought about the deal further, they approached Crawford and Martin and said they would fully surrender the baby if they also gave them $1,000. They stated Martin created an agreement that they videotaped to ensure it was legal, and they planned to legalize it on Monday. They both stated they then left on the understanding that the baby was given to Martin in exchange for $1,000 to be collected on Monday. Urban and Ellers were initially charged with endangering the welfare of a minor and attempting to accept consideration for relinquishment of a minor. After taking a plea deal, Urban pled guilty to attempted accepting compensation for adoption and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Eller also took a plea deal, pled guilty to attempting to accept compensation for adoption and endangering a child's welfare, but the judge deferred her plea and placed her on state-supervised probation for 6 years. She ain't even getting any jail time. Yeah, Flash, what about the dude that was trying to buy babies? Or are they telling the cops that, oh, hey, we were saving the kid or something? Yeah, and they fronted the baby. They didn't even get the cash. Jesus. I had a Merry Christmas. Hope a lot of you had a Merry Christmas. I hope all of you had a Merry Christmas if you celebrate. If you celebrate something else, I hope you had a Merry Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. We're all going to have a Happy New Year. I would hope it's in state custody, Leslie. Which also is not ideal, but better than with those parents for sure. Speaking of bad parents, a mother accused of shooting her son after Christmas brunch at Red Rooster in Overtown. At a Red Rooster. What was supposed to be a nice Christmas Day brunch turned into gunfire when Miami police say a mother shot her son outside a popular Overton restaurant. It happened around 3 p.m. at Red Rooster. Investigators identified the suspect as Rosetta Lavette Smith of Fort Lauderdale. Officers responded to the shooting call and found a man lying on the ground bleeding from a gunshot wound to his left thigh. Was she trying to shoot him in the dick? Real, I brought you into this world type energy. Miami Fire and Rescue provided aid before transporting the victim to Jackson Memorial Hospital, where he's listed in stable condition. According to investigators, the victim later told detectives that he had arrived at the restaurant earlier in the afternoon with Smith for brunch. While inside, police said Smith became upset, accusing her son of acting disrespectful towards her and other family members. Was he? The argument, I'm going to trust the mom on that one. The argument continued outside the restaurant's parking lot where police said both entered Smith's vehicle and the dispute escalated. They said the victim exited the vehicle, followed by Smith, who then fired a single shot, striking him in the thigh. The report states that Smith fled the scene but was later located and taken into custody by Miami Police Department's domestic violence. I shouldn't be laughing. This isn't funny. Smith claims she acted in self-defense, saying her son threatened to assault her after he refused to leave her vehicle. She told detectives that she feared for her safety based on his past behavior. The victim later identified Smith as the shooter in a statement at the hospital. Jail records show she is being held without bond at the Turner. I don't think she should be held without bond. 1 count of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. She shot him in the thigh. She clearly wasn't trying to kill him. Where'd this fucking happen? I have to tell you the state where this happened. It's gonna be crucial to this, isn't it? Oklahoma. Should have known. A woman died on Christmas. She was struck by a bullet from a man who said he was doing target practice with a gun that he got for Christmas. Authorities are investigating a death that happened on Christmas Day in Meridian, Oklahoma. A person was struck by a stray bullet. The sheriff's office has said one person has been arrested for first-degree manslaughter. The sheriff's office said 911 emergency crews were called to a home around 3:15 p.m. local time to report that someone had been shot. Authorities later got a call from a different address stating someone there had just gotten a gun for Christmas and was target practicing in his backyard. They believed the gun had been pointing in the direction of the scene. Investigators went to the reported address and spoke with an individual that confirmed he was shooting a target in his backyard and that he had heard that someone had died from a gunshot wound a couple of roads over. Something sounds fishy. Sheriff's office didn't share the identity of the person who had died. It had also not yet identified the suspect except to say that an arrest had been made for first-degree manslaughter. This was 2 days ago. Wonder if there's an update. 'Cause, 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 ' Apparently, there has been a mass shooting in Milwaukee. One person dead. A man apparently was able to rescue his 15-year-old daughter who was being kidnapped over Christmas.
In the meantime, Montgomery County Sheriff's deputies arrested a Porter man on Christmas Day after he allegedly kidnapped a 15-year-old girl while she was out walking her dog. According to the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, the victim's father used a location tracker on his daughter's phone when she did not come home. He ended up finding her and the dog in a man's pickup truck in a wooded area in Harris County. Her father helped her escape and then called the police. The investigation revealed 23-year-old Giovanni Espinoza.
What did the father look like? Because, like, that dude ain't beat up enough.
Threatened the victim with a knife and abducted her from the street. Espinoza is being held without bail on charges of aggravated kidnapping and indecency with a child.
Wow. We had some high winds the week before Christmas, resulted in this wild video of an ornament.
Connecticut, a giant Christmas decoration meant to spread holiday cheer instead caused major headaches. Strong winds got a hold of an oversized ornament and sent it crashing into cars in Stamford's Harbor Point neighborhood. Now, the owners of those damaged cars want the company responsible for that runaway decoration to cover the cost of their repairs. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson.
As Friday's sudden storm rolled in, Matt followed building management's directive, went out on his balcony to make sure everything was secure. Well, it seems they missed their own email.
I suddenly saw like this gigantic ornament get loose, and I was like, that giant ornament's about to hit my car.
That huge metal ornament that even has seating inside. First you see it rock, tip.
It looks like a lot lighter than it is, I thought. I was like, no, that guy's heavy.
And then the wind took it from there, right down Harbor Point Road South here in Stamford, Connecticut. Wait, the tinsel is still
I know,
on
there's
it.
still glitter.
Alex was driving her car on the receiving end of the holiday globe that kept on giving. She was with a friend and two dogs when the oversized ornament smashed right into her Honda. There was nowhere to go, and so everybody just braced for impact.
It was scratchy and loud, and then like done.
Kept going, hit at least one other car.
My friend got out and he walked around and he was like, oh boy. And I was like, what?
That's all the sand. Alex took this video of the damage.
Oh, wow.
The side of the car was dented.
Getting bald has a new meaning.
Just relieved the windows didn't shatter.
It looks like a gingerbread man threw up on it.
Alex tells me the developer BLT, which owns and operates this neighborhood, apologized for all of this and said it would pay for the damages and a rental car. I reached out for comment and I was told there isn't one.
Who knows what could have happened? Right before the storm, there was a woman with a stroller with two kids in it.
We spotted crews securing the ornament to make sure there isn't a repeat performance. In Stamford, Kimberly Richardson, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
A firefighter in Arizona was able to rescue a German Shepherd that got trapped under a car on Christmas Eve. Oh, I guess we just got the picture. Oh, look at the poor baby. I thought we had video of him getting him out. Oh, bubbers. Oh, he's so scared. That sweet face. I was going to end on that, but like it was just like the one picture, so. Here's another animal story for you. We did this one a couple of weeks ago. This dude is getting ready to sue over the fact that this bear won't leave his house.
Its den under an Altadena home still refusing to leave after more than a month. Now the homeowner there says that this massive bear has done damage to his pipes, forcing him to shut off the gas. And that man says that living with a bear under his house has now kind of pushed him to the breaking point.
Can you imagine? Wow. And he plans to sue the Department of Fish and Wildlife after being told that the state will no longer help. KTLA's Jillian Smuckler is live in Altadena with this story you'll see only on 5. Hi there.
Hi, Court. Yeah, it's just terrifying. This poor homeowner says he's just at his breaking point. It's been over a month since that $550.
I really like her shirt. And also,
A titty slap! Come on now. Pound black bear moved into his home, and as you just mentioned, it's caused a lot of damage. He can hear it from inside of his home. So now he's deciding to sue the agency because they stopped helping him get that bear out. Ken Johnson says the bear moved under his Altadena home just before Thanksgiving and never really left.
If I kept track of everything I tried, it would be, bear 14, homeowner 0.
California Department of Fish and Wildlife stepped in at first, setting a trap near the crawl space. But instead of catching the large bear under Johnson's home, the trap caught a smaller bear, the wrong one. That bear was hauled away and the bigger bear stayed put.
Well, I was kind of sad for the other bear at first, but then I'm like, well, if this bear comes out now, where's he going to go?
Biologists later tried again using air horns to flush the bear out. Johnson says it looked like it was finally working until he says they suddenly got a call ordering them to stand down.
Very defeated. Oh, yeah. I mean, I just dropped because well, now what? It's all up to me? And what, I'm supposed to watch my phone when he comes out in the middle of the night? Or sleep in the kitchen and listen for him every night? I even asked, okay, so as long as you guys are gone, can I still use the bait to get him? No, can't do that.
Since then, Johnson says he can hear the bear moving around, presumably doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, you're bear now.
You hear the plastic being shredded underneath, and even one of the cameras picked it up, just bulldozing through it. It's a mess under there.
This video of a broken pipe prompted him to shut off his gas on Christmas Eve, and he hasn't had any hot water since.
I'm just exhausted from the whole thing. I get my mind off it for a little bit, and then suddenly...
Poor dude, he doesn't even have the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about...
I get flooded back with, oh, that's right, can't take a hot shower. I got to monitor the situation all the time. Every time my phone buzzes, it's like, is that him? Do I have to go and keep him away?
Now, Johnson says he plans to sue, accusing the agency of...
So he's just been waiting for the bear to leave this whole time? But the bear is ready for winter, so the bear is full and won't need to have food. I don't mean to laugh. This new Odd Couple reboot looks pretty funny.
Negligence and emotional distress.
Because this has gone on long enough, and it's something that they should deal with. I mean, it's a tagged bear. They've dealt with it before. They chose not to.
I think he lives near the areas where the fire was. It's Altadena, I think.
KTLA legal analyst Allison Treasel says the department has a duty to...
It's such a huge bear.
...public safety threat, and says Johnson may have grounds to take this to court.
The homeowner certainly can prove that this bear is causing damage and is a threat to his safety.
While she doesn't know if and how much money Johnson would get from the lawsuit, she believes if he wins, a court order to remove the bear is likely.
The California Department of Fish and Wildlife actually has a 19-page policy when it comes to situations just like this. But nowhere does it say that they should simply give up and have the homeowner deal with it on their own and wait it out.
Yeah, because he's probably going to be waiting until the spring.
For comment on this, but we have yet to hear back. I do want to mention, though, they do still have a camera set out right outside that crawl space. They say they are monitoring the bear, but in terms of bringing any traps back in or trying to do more to get that bear out, they say that is completely stopped. Reporting live in Altadena, Jillian Smuckler, KTLA 5 News.
What a nightmare. Jillian, thanks for that. Certainly more to come on that story.
Okay, for Live Music Monday, I'm going to let you guys pick. I probably shouldn't do this, should I? I'm going to let you guys pick tonight. It's going to be chat pick. I think I showed this animal video once before, but we can watch it again. We'll have it play in the background. Really pretty fucking ill. You go over to Twitch. Oh, I'll go ahead and turn off YouTube and shit, and then we'll do a poll. I'll tell you what you got on the poll for Live Music Monday. YouTube people, podcast people, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night. We're gonna do the news tomorrow night. Troll Patrol live, same troll time, same troll place. Then Wednesday night we're gonna do like best of the year, like top stories of 2025. Live show. I might come on a little early. We might come on 6, 7. And being her, like, having Curious's grandkid, like, she is 6'7" so many times. Got me with it so many times. So we'll do short news, and then we will cover the ball. There's a new ball this year, by the way. If you guys didn't know, they retired the ball last year. We're getting a new LED ball this year. Nice. So that's the schedule for the next couple of days. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun for the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol live. Twitch people, stick with me. We're gonna